Thank you, Chris, and plenty of orange here at the Alamo Dome tonight as we welcome you to ESPN's presentation of the 2012 Valero Alamo Bowl from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Happy holidays, everyone. An appealing holiday day treat tonight. Two top 25 teams going head-to-head. Number 23, Texas, against Oregon State. The Beavers, number 13 in the most recent BCS standings. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman will be joined shortly by Quint Kesenick. Delighted to have you with us. Interesting matchup. Texas a bit of a disappointment this year at 8-4. Oregon State a big surprise, 9-3, 6-win improvement over a year ago. One thing they have in common, issues at the quarterback position entering this game. It'll be David Ash starting at quarterback for Texas. He's had a bit of an up and down year.
Yeah, he's struggled a little bit. At times he's been pretty good, but I think for David Ash to take the next step, the one thing he needs to do is not be so hesitant in making throws. He waits a little bit, throws off the timing of the route, or he only throws to the wide open receiver as opposed to throwing to a guy open. You see the yellow box there? That's throwing to a spot, trusting your receiver will get to that spot to make the catch. If you're late or you throw to the guy, the defensive backs at this level usually catch up and make a big play.
David Ash started the first 11 games of the regular season. He did not start the regular season finale against Kansas State. He had a rib injury. Case McCoy started in that ball game. He was to be the backup tonight, but he's not here. That's been the big story the last 24 hours. With more on that, here's Quint.
Sean, on Friday, Texas coach Mack Brown suspended 2 players and sent them home for a violation of team rules. A source within the Texas administration told ESPN.com that those 2 players were quarterback Case McCoy and linebacker Jordan Hicks. Now, Brown referred to a KENS television report that said that San Antonio police are investigating an alleged sexual assault involving 2 Texas football players. Where this leaves Texas now, and keep in mind that no names have been released and no charges have been filed. This leaves Texas tonight without McCoy, their backup quarterback. 2 scenarios I'm going to present for you. Let's say David Ash gets his helmet popped off and has to come out of the game for a play. It's likely you'll see the Wildcat formation. It is likely you'll see punter Alex King for 1 play, who was a high school quarterback. If Ash is injured, that's where the decision gets difficult for Mack Brown, who told me he would consider taking the red shirt off freshman quarterback Jalen Overstreet, who has yet to play a single snap this year, Sean.
And they'd like to keep that red shirt intact. Meanwhile, Oregon State with a quarterback story of its own. They have 2, they think, very good quarterbacks, and Sean Mannion, the starter for most of the year. Cody Vass started the middle of the season, and late in the year they competed for the job in the bowl practices for a couple of weeks. It'll be Vaz tonight.
Well, it came down to 2 numbers, 13 and 1. 13 interceptions for Mannion, 1 interception for Cody Vaz. Talking to Mike Riley, he really likes the release and the decision making of Cody Vaz. Also 2 very good wide receivers tonight, Marcus Wheaton and Brandon Cooks. Both of them very good yards after catch, averaging over 39 yards apiece.
Both involved in the run game as well. They combined for 34 carries. You'll see some fly sweeps and that sort of action. Oregon State won the toss and deferred, so the Beavers will kick off. The 6-win improvement over last year, matching Ohio State, San Jose State, Middle Tennessee State for the biggest improvement in the country year to year. Marquise Goodwin back deep to receive the kickoff from Trevor Romaine. Pro-Texas crowd, a little more than an hour's drive from the University of Texas campus in Austin. DJ Monroe started at the 5, and he got banged down at the 18-yard line by Anthony Watkins. It is a fired-up Beaver team, and Beaver Nation has traveled well from the Pacific Northwest, as you can see. Tough, though, to tell when you look at the stands which fans are cheering for which team. Similar shades of orange. So here come the Longhorns. Ash has been practicing regularly with the rib cage injury. It is on his right side, his throwing side. He's an accurate quarterback. 68% for the year, 13th best in the country. Throws to Jackson Shipley, who struggled ahead 4-2. Tackled by the safety Ryan Murphy. Here are the Texas impact players, at least some of them tonight.
Yeah, new offensive coordinator Major Applewhite talked about getting Goodwin the ball and getting him touches. Jonathan Gray, inside tough runner, and of course, when you want a pass rusher, look for number 80, Alex Okafor.
Second down and 7. Has been running back by committee, but Jonathan Gray, the true freshman, has seen a lot of the action lately. They handed it off to DJ Monroe, and he got flattened for a loss of about 2. DJ Alexander, the linebacker. Rashad Reynolds, the corner. Michael Doctor, number 40, their leading tackler for the year. All in on the play, and now here's third down. Texas, one of the best in the country. Third down conversions, but the Oregon State defense, 6th best in the country. Their opponents converting at just 29%.
It's all about trust. They trust their schemes, then they execute.
It's a huge improvement over a year ago. Last year they were 47% on third down, 104th in the nation, the Beaver defense. Ash with time, dumped it off short to Mike Davis. Broke one tackle, but then got sent to the turf at the 21 by Michael Doctor. And a 3-and-out for Texas in its first game with Major Applewhite, the former star quarterback for the Longhorns, calling the plays. He was the co-offensive coordinator with Brian Harsin. Harsin called the plays. Harsin earlier this month named the head coach at Arkansas State. But now Major calling the plays for the first time since 2007 when he was at Alabama. Also called plays for 1 year at Rice before the punt could get away from Alex King.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 30. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 4th down.
Hubert Owens leading the SEC officiating crew here tonight. Ryan Robertson guilty of the penalty. Mack Brown in his 15th season at Texas. They're in a bowl game for the 14th year. The only time they didn't make it was 2010. So they went 5-7. Their only losing season under Mack Brown. Win tonight would be his 150th and give him a perfect average of 10 wins per year at Texas. Fair catch made by Jordan Poyer at the 30. 54-yard punt by King, who had an excellent year for the Horns. So after 2 weeks of competition back in Corvallis, Mike Riley and his staff settled on Cody Baz, the junior from Lodi, California. He was not the starter at the beginning of the year. Sean Mannion started and won the first 4 games, but then he injured his knee, a meniscus injury that required minor surgery. Baz stepped in and won his first start at BYU against a very good defense in a tough environment. Wound up starting 4 games, won 3 of them. The only loss was a narrow defeat at Stanford. Against the Pac-12 champs. To mention Wheaton and Cooks, the wide receivers, will be involved in the running game, and immediately they give it to Marcus Wheaton, the senior, for a gain of about 8.
Yeah, Marcus Wheaton, talked to some scouts earlier, Sean, probably a 2nd to 3rd round draft pick, and not only can he run the ball, but watch him tonight when he catches it. He's one of those guys that snatches the ball from the air with his hands as opposed to the dreaded body catchers.
We know how you do not like those body catchers. Trying to set up a screen, and it's intercepted. He threw it right to Peter Jenkins, the true freshman linebacker, getting the start tonight because of injuries at their linebacker core. And Chris, you mentioned they went with Vaz instead of Mannion because he's been much better in the touchdown interception ratio, and he just thrown his 2nd interception of the year.
Well, watch Inger, number 71 right here. He does not do his job. If he stays on his block, they have a play. He's responsible for Jenkins. He lets Jenkins go, and Jenkins keeps a good job of his eyes on the quarterback, closes on his man-to-man coverage, and is able to make the big play. But that starts with a lack of execution by the Oregon State offensive lineman, Grant Inger.
Turnovers have been a big factor in Texas' season, as you saw in the graphic. Ash trying to turn it into a touchdown, and the receiver, Marquise Goodwin, didn't see the ball. He was wide open, but never adjusted to it as he got behind Rashad Reynolds, an excellent cornerback.
It's all about timing. Right here, they do a little stutter and go. He's got to be able to pick up that football. That's a well-thrown ball, Well timed by David Ash. That's on Goodwin, and that could be something where you're trying to get him involved in the offense, Sean, but he hasn't had a lot of catches this year, only 22 catches on the year. Not used to it.
One of the criticisms of Brian Harsin by Longhorn fans, he didn't get the ball to several of their playmakers often enough. Jonathan Gray back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Andrew Seumalo made the tackle. Defensive tackle senior from Corvallis, former walk-on. His dad Joe is his position coach, and his brother Isaac has had a terrific year as the true freshman starting center for the Beavers.
It should be noted too, and going back to your point about Goodwin and Coach Harsin, that Major Applewhite in our meetings yesterday made it a point of emphasis that Goodwin will get his touches because of that 10-1 100-meter speed.
And eventually Applewhite would like to simplify the passing game a bit for Ash with an eye toward next year. On the delay, Malcolm Brown smothered. Andrew Seumalo again, part of the pile. 4 minutes in, no score. Mac Brown and the Longhorns trying to capitalize on the interception. Looking at 4th down and 9, he has the field goal unit out. It's the true freshman Nick Jordan. Texas has not had a good year kicking field goals. Jordan is 7 out of 11. Split time with Anthony Farah, the transfer from Penn State. 46-yard kick. Looked like it was deflected at the line. Fete Unga gave the ball off to Ryan Murphy. And it's all the way back to the 37-yard line. It was a low kick that was blocked. Fielded by Unga, who was smart to hand it off to Ryan Murphy, who's a starting safety. A 37-yard return and all for Oregon State.
Anytime you have a field goal protection unit, you must secure the middle. That's where most blocks occur, and you're able to get penetration. Also, there wasn't that much penetration. There was about a yard, but that tells me that the kick is low. Snap's good, holds good. Low kick equals block because of the little bit of penetration allowed by the field goal protection unit up front.
Scott Crichton credited with the block by the official stats. They're all conference defensive end. Baz, man open. Connor Hamlet, an H-back. Danny Langsdorff, the offensive coordinator, told us he'll be a big part of their plan tonight. A very athletic, big target at 6'7", 259, who can get down the field.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hesitation. Oregon State does this well. Hamlet's up there blocking, then releases late. And I like the call by Mike Riley, letting Cody Vass throw the football after an interception to get him up and going and moving.
For Hamlet, it was to be a 22-yard gain.
Or not to be.
Storm Woods, one of 5 Beavers who hail from Texas. He's from Pflugerville, about 90 miles from here, and was looking forward to the homecoming. It's a homecoming for Mike Riley as well. For 2 years, he was the head coach of the San Antonio Riders in the World League of American Football back in the early 90s. Still has a home in this area. What a job he's done. 12th season overall, was there for 2 years, then went to the NFL for 4, including 3 as head coach of the San Diego Chargers. Then came back as head coach when Dennis Erickson left. 7 bowl game in 10 years. Stint 2 for Riley. Incomplete pass intended for Brandon Cooks and swatted away by Kenny Vaccaro, senior from Brownwood, Texas, playing in his last game, and he could well be a first-round draft pick in the next NFL draft.
And probably the most consistent player on the Longhorn defense this year. Senior leader. When things weren't going well for the Longhorn defense, the senior Kenny Vaccaro and Alex Okafor kind of took it upon themselves to get the improvement, and they have improved over their last 5 games.
And a Texas defense that statistically has been the worst in the history of the Longhorn program. On 3rd and 8, Vaz under a heavy rush. It is deflected and incomplete off the hands of Marcus Wheaton, the all-time leading receiver in Oregon State history.
Cedric Reed, number 88, applying the pressure and forced Vaz maybe to hurry that throw just a tad over the outstretched hands of Wheaton.
Unlike Texas, Oregon State has not had issues with its field goal kicker. Trevor Romaines had an excellent year, as you can see. 14 out of 16, best percentage in the Pac-12. He's made his last 10. Hasn't missed since game 3 of the year back in late September. And no announcer jinx. Right down the middle. And Oregon State blocks the field goal and then kicks one at the other end. 3-0 Beavers here in San Antonio.
Welcome to the great city of San Antonio and the 20th annual Valero Alamo Bowl. As title sponsor, Valero is very proud to be part of a 20-year bowl tradition that's awarded over $68 million to colleges and conferences and over $1 million in scholarships to students that have excelled in the classroom. We hope that you enjoy tonight's game between the Texas Longhorns and the Oregon State Beavers. And on behalf of the Valero Alamo Bowl and the Valero family all across America, we wish you a safe and happy New Year.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
And we welcome you back to the Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas. 20th anniversary of this bowl game. Has a history for exciting games, close finishes. You were here for that wild one last year when Baylor outscored Washington. Last time Texas was here, 2006, won a squeaker by 2 over Iowa. Oregon State has never played in the Alamo Bowl. Matter of fact, this is the best bowl game they've gone to under Mike Riley. The best they've gone to since they went to the Fiesta Bowl at the end of the 2000 season when they hammered Notre Dame in the Valley of the Sun. DJ Monroe sent head over heels and a flag thrown. Brian Watkins made the tackle. Monroe, a dangerous kickoff return man. Brought 3 back in his career for touchdowns. That's the school record.
During the return, illegal block in the back on the receiving team. Number 18, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Takes courage to cover kicks, more courage to run kicks back. And right there you see the courage of Monroe. You see why he was able to bring back 3. There's the push in the back. Actually assisted on the tackle of DJ Monroe.
Brian Jackson guilty of illegal block. DJ Monroe did not get full marks from the judges, did not stick the landing. There's David Ash with his team down 3-0. Jonathan Gray the back. Ash faked it to him and lost it. It's an incomplete pass. Hubert Owens, the referee, after a second to ponder it, rolled it incomplete. Looked like Ash's arm was coming forward. The ball went forward. He wasn't trying, it appeared, to throw it, just slipped out of his hands, but it was a forward pass.
Yeah, his arm did go forward, and Sean, it started out as a busted play. That wasn't a forward pass, that was a busted play because the receivers downfield that Ash was looking were blocking. There was no receiver looking for the football whatsoever. And maybe that's what you have as a result of a new offensive coordinator. Just the communication was an issue.
Mac Brown and Major Applewhite said there really aren't any new wrinkles. There wasn't enough time in the bowl practice to have Major put his stamp on it. Incomplete pass to Mike Davis. Looked like he turned his head to look at the defense. And Major Applewhite made another point about that too. He said, yeah, we had a few weeks. We could have done a few things. But you have to remember, these guys had finals during that stretch. A lot of pressure on them. They needed the time to study. I didn't want to give them a bunch more to think about. They will make changes to the offense in the offseason and spring practice.
One change I'd like to see is David Ash make a tough throw. And this is a situation where you need a tough throw to be made on 3rd and 10. We chronicled that in the opening of the show. Will he throw a man open?
I'd like him to be a bit more bold. They try to set up a screen. It looked like the Beavers were offside. Incomplete pass in the direction of Jonathan Gray. Well, the Horns should get another chance. Anthony Watkins, who was in as an extra defensive back and was blitzing, looked to be guilty of offside.
There were 2 fouls on the play. Illegal formation on the offense. Offside. Defense number 3. Those penalties offset. Replay third down.
So far for the Texas offense, 8 snaps and 5 total yards. Mac Brown doesn't like the explanation. The pistol. With Ash in front of Gray. That's a lateral to Gray. He's in trouble. Got away from Michael Doctor. And wrestled down by Andrew Sayamalo and Sean Martin, the reserve defensive back. And Texas will punt again.
Again, the one thing we saw, one pass thrown downfield by David Ash. Other than that, and Goodwin didn't get his head around. Other than that, it's been a conservative passing game called by Major Applewhite early in this ball game.
Alex King to punt again. Transfer from Duke. Jordan Poyer, fair catch. 40-yard line. Good field position for Oregon State after a 45-yard punt. It's a homecoming for Storm Woods. He had to find 120 tickets for this game tonight. Texas and Oregon State, the Valero Alamo Bowl here in San Antonio. A trip of almost 2,300 miles for the Beavers from their campus in Corvallis. Mentioned earlier, the University of Texas only about 80 miles away. But a homecoming for Storm Woods from Pflugerville, about 90 miles from here, northeast. He grew up watching Texas football, going to games. His grandmother, Mary, who helped raise him, is a University of Texas graduate. To her left, the camera's right, Faith, Storm Woods' mother. They faked it to Storm. Cody Vaz lost the football as he wound up to throw. He didn't know where it was. The Longhorns know where it is. It's on the 26-yard line, and it looked like Texas got the ball. The Horns did. And the Pflugerville High School teammate of Storm Woods, Alex Okafor, knocked the ball out. Cedric Reed, the other defensive end, appeared to recover it.
See Okafor, we highlighted him. I like the fact that he's not going to make the sack, but he has the awareness to swat the football away. That's why he's an impact player in a future NFL second or third round pick. Nice little rip move and not panicking, controlling his feet, and the awareness to swat the ball away from Vaz. Now let's see if Texas can capitalize on the turnover. They did not the first time, maybe this time.
Already the second turnover, both by Vaz, who was named a starter largely because he had protected the ball better than Sean Mannion, who was their starter for most of the year. Jonathan Gray taken down by Scott Crichton, and now the Horns will pick up the tempo after 3 and outs, trying to get something going on offense. Gray cannot bounce outside. We talked about the 6-win improvement over a year ago for Oregon State, Chris, and another huge reason why the defense so much more improved over a year ago. They're giving up under 20 points per game. Only Stanford better in the Pac-12 this year in scoring defense.
Yeah, they're only one of the few teams defensively that I watched on film this year that is sound in everything that they do. Schematically, every player trusts the other guy to be where he is supposed to be, and that's a big reason for their success.
Out of the gun, David Ash. 7 minutes to go in the quarter. 3-0 Oregon State. Deep throw. Jackson Shipley. It's over his head. Flag down near the line of scrimmage, near side of the field. Ryan Murphy, the safety, had the coverage. Holding against Texas. They turned it down to be 4th down. They are in field goal range. Mike Riley says we're going to turn it down.
Holding. Offense, number 51. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Donald Hawkins, the left tackle. They're playing tonight without their starting left guard, and a good one, Trey Hopkins, with a leg injury. Luke Pellman, who's played all over the offensive line this year, has stepped in at left guard tonight.
Let's see if Nick Jordan kicks the ball a little bit higher.
If he doesn't, it will not end happily.
It'll be rejected
for Nick. His first one was blocked. This is a 40-yard try. Much more elevation. And a happy ending. 2 turnovers committed by Cody Vaz, the Oregon State quarterback. They have resulted in just 3 points for Texas. We're tied at 3 in San Antonio.
Let's have a little fun tonight. Let's have a little fun tonight.
ESPN College Football, the Valero Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by Valero, keeping America moving, ProjectLuna.com, and the Experience Buick Lease. It's a new lease on luxury.
Well, players on both teams have had a great week here in San Antonio on Wednesday. Both teams had a chance to visit SeaWorld San Antonio. A sit-up contest with a 700-pound walrus. They went swimming with beluga whales. Had a chance to see a San Antonio Spurs game. Of course, a lot of charity visits to local area hospitals. There's Sean Mannion, starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. We mentioned he played pretty well most of the year. Mike Riley said it was a hard choice because we have 2 guys we know we can win games with. They wonder if with the 2 quick turnovers by Cody Vaz, who's been shaky, he might be creeping toward a quick hook.
Well, and I saw Sean Mannion during that break kind of give Cody Vaz a pat of encouragement. I think Mike Riley's going to stick with Cody Vaz for now, and we'll see how the game he progresses. Another turnover, you might see number 4 in the bullpen.
Nick Rose's kickoff went to the back of the end zone. Well, Quint Kesnick's been eavesdropping on that Oregon State sideline.
Yeah, it was Mike Riley coming over to Cody Vaz with a big smile, putting his arm around the quarterback, saying, it's okay, settle down, everything's going to be good. But what you guys notice upstairs, the body language of Sean Mannion, I have never seen a backup quarterback as eager to get in a ball game. He was positive with Cody Vaz, but this is a kid who's got his chin strap buckled. I mean, he is on his toes. He is eager to get on the field. And as you said, Sean, one more mistake by Vaz, we may see Mannion.
Well, he's a coach's son, and coach's sons are brought up to be good teammates. Sean Mannion is father's a high school coach back in Oregon.
Very successful high school coach. Vaz is from Lodi, California. He gave it off to Storm Woods, who got buried right at the line of scrimmage. Woods was a sophomore at Pflugerville High School, and Alex Okafor, the Texas defensive end, was a senior. They remain very good friends. Matter of fact, Storm Woods says his welcome to the varsity moment at Pflugerville High was when he got crunched a few times by Alex Okafor in practice. And Alex Okafor's best friend, a young man by the name of A.J. Reese, who's here tonight, he is the cousin of Storm Woods. And we talked to Storm the other day. He wasn't sure if his cousin was going to be cheering for Oregon State or Texas. Woods, lots of running room. That'll probably be a test of who A.J. Reese is cheering for tonight. If he was clapping after that run, he's happy for his cousin. It took Vaccaro and Thompson, the safeties, to get him down, a 19-yard gain.
Well, right there you saw the true freshman, number 19 for Texas, get popped inside. Jenkins, anytime you get 2 guys inside, he ran in and cut off Steve Edmond, the middle linebacker, number 33, which created the open running lane.
With the hat there in the middle, A.J. Reese hedging his bets there. He had on a Texas hat and an Oregon State t-shirt. Well, he has both sides covered. Off in the flat to Connor Hamlet. Across midfield and chopped down by Carrington Bindum. 2 yards short of the first down. There's A.J. Reese, himself a football player at Texas A&M Hingsville. It's got to be tough. Your cousin's on one team, your best pal's on the other.
Tough or easy, depending on who wins, you can't lose. I like the play calling of Mike Riley, working on those young linebackers, and how you work on young linebackers and run a lot of play action, which we have seen the Beaver offense do.
Storm Woods, nice cuts. He's a redshirt freshman. Reggie Wilson and Michael Thompson made the tackle. He got the first down with a gain of 9. A
Look at number 77, Big Phillip. Michael Phillip right there getting a knockdown block on Thompson, who does a good job of throwing his body, even though he gets pushed down in front of the runner to get him on the ground.
That's another reason they were a lot better this year. Michael Phillip, the left tackle, missed all of last season with a knee injury. Back and healthy and playing at a high level this year. Woods gang tackled after a pickup of 2 to the 37-yard line. Dalton Santos made the tackle, true freshman middle linebacker. Chris, when you're looking for reasons why they've struggled this year, certainly the injury to Jordan Hicks, that linebacker, really hurt. Talented player, the quarterback of the defense. They lost Jackson Jeffcoat, an outstanding defensive end. But a lot of youth and inexperience at linebacker, and that group just didn't play well for most of the year.
Yeah, they've gotten better as the year's gone on, Sean, but when you go from first in the Big 12 in rushing defense to last in rushing defense, a lot of that is due to the inexperience at linebacker.
Trying to set up a screen again. Vaz threw it into a crowd, and you have to look and see that there's nothing there. He tried to force it into Woods, and Kendall Thompson, another of those inexperienced linebackers, was in the right place.
Watch here, you're going to close on man-to-man coverage. Watch him close on Storm Woods. And Cody Vaz is trying to look him off, but he has to see the defenders close. Now, when you have guys closing that quick, you have a fake screen, then you go over the top. So Mike Riley's always thinking ahead and setting up something off of that screen.
Mike Riley calls the plays, took back the play calling this year. Here's a blitz. Vaz got belted and still completed the pass for a first down. Connor Hamlet again, the sophomore from Edmonds, Washington. Edmonds, Washington in the Seattle area. It's a 13-yard gain, and Vaz stood in there and got popped.
Anticipation, exactly what Cody Vaz did. Made the tough throw under pressure. Even though his guy was not open, Sean, he trusted that Hamlet would come back and get the ball, and that size helped him against the smaller Jenkins, number 19, on coverage.
Carrington Bindum came on the corner blitz. Vaz not a real big guy. 6'1", 198 pounds. Play fake, he's in trouble and buried back at the 31. Reggie Wilson, junior defensive end, with his first sack of the year.
It's all about speed off the edge. If you can get speed off the edge, he's going to beat Michael Phillip just with pure speed. 92, and you'll see Phillip try to come out and beat him. He gets a good shoulder turn and is able to close and finish and make the play behind the line of scrimmage. Depth at the defensive line, depth at defensive end keeps fresh pass rushers coming in and attacking.
Wilson and Cedric Reed filling the void created by Jackson Jeffcoat's season-ending pec injury. Jeffcoat played in 6 games with 4 sacks. Loss of 6. Karan Ward, the sophomore, back up to Storm Woods, got dropped by Steve Edmond. There was a question mark tonight for the Texas defense with an ankle injury. They're coordinated by Manny Diaz. And what a turnaround it's been for him. He went from, as one paper said, boy genius last year when they led the conference in defense, to the whipping boy this year. And they went to 100th in the nation in rush defense this season, 75th in total defense. 3rd and 13. They are in field goal range. Middle screen. Connor Hamlet. Danny Langsdorff wasn't lying when he told us Hamlet was a big part of the game plan tonight. His 4th catch. Good for another first down.
We talk about Sean setting things off of screens. They're going to show a wide receiver screen to the outside. Getting everybody jumping out here. Hamlet, number 19, is going to delay and come right into the middle. Take a look. This is all set up right here. Everybody's going to the outside. Cody Hamlet gets behind a big 3 up front, is able to get the first down. Mike Riley is a master play caller.
Gain of 15. 1st and 10. And thrown into traffic again and incomplete. In the direction of Colby Prince. Boy, Vaz seems to be unaware of the defenders who are surrounding his intended receivers on these short passes and screens.
There is, but he's also trusting that his offensive linemen are going to pick up the linebackers that are closing in on those receivers. They're not getting the job done, but he has to be aware and see that they're not getting the job done. But those linemen have to pick up the linebackers when they're closing up on man-to-man on screen passes.
Storm Woods back in and running back. Plenty of running room. Great blocking and a touchdown for Oregon State. Storm Woods got 6 tickets for this game. That's the players' allotment. A lot of his teammates don't have friends or relatives here, so he was borrowing and asking, and he wound up with 89 tickets, but he had 120 requests from friends and family. The extra point is barely good by Trevor Romaine. 12-yard touchdown run as the Beavers go 75 yards in 12 plays. And the first touchdown of this Valero Alamo Bowl is scored by Storm Woods.
Across the world, they are known as daring dreamers, innovators, and game changers. But around campus, they're known as the competition. The University of Texas. What starts here changes the world.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
For the 3rd straight year at the Valero Alamo Bowl, a Big 12 Pac-12 matchup. Oregon State trying to get a win for its conference. The last 2 years, the Pac-12 team has gone down to defeat Washington against Baylor last year, Arizona 2 years ago against Oklahoma State. Storm Woods the touchdown. He ran for 42 yards of the 75 on that drive. Good kick by Trevor Romaine, and a knee taken by DJ Monroe.
Athleticism to get to the 2nd level. Watch Isaac Seumalo right here bump on the double team and come up on number 35 Kendall Thompson, which is able to clear the hole and make room for the thunderstorm, bringing it for 6. Nice job by
Storm Woods sounds like a weatherman's name or a soap opera star. I mean,
well, he's going. It could be both.
We're happy to report he's done well academically this season. If you watch the game against UCLA, which we had the pleasure of broadcasting early in the year, we mentioned his grandmother Mary was not happy with his 2.8 GPA. Storm told us this semester that just finished, he had 2 A's and 2 B's. Mary was a lot happier. And we had the feeling when we met Mary in LA, you don't disappoint grandmother Mary Bars.
For the snap, the layup game.
Nice catch, Hubert.
Number 14. 5 yards from the previous spot. First down.
There's some multitasking. Make the call, the signal, catch the ball, keep going. Well done. That's why you're in a bowl game.
That was good reaction. He pulled the delay game down and made the kept with the hands. Didn't body catch it either, Sean.
No, you like that hands catch.
You got it with the hands. Love it. Good job. Well done.
Like the teams, this is a reward for outstanding officials as well. David Ash handed it off to Jonathan Gray in some running room. He goes to the 25. Anthony Watkins made the tackle. Gray, a true freshman, one of the most highly recruited players in the country last year. Then running back by committee. Joe Burge around the power back. They get around the goal line. Malcolm Brown's had an ankle injury late in the year. They're without Jeremy Hills, who's their 3rd down back. Season-ending knee injury against TCU. Ash fires, caught. DJ Grant struggles to the 30-yard line, taken down by Reuben Robinson, backup linebacker.
Nice call by Major Applewhite to get them into a manageable 3rd down. Opens up the playbook a little bit for David Ash. Good read right there by Dave. One of the things they're trying to get him to do is to make quick decisions right there. He saw the open receiver, popped it right now without hesitation.
Applewhite had been the running backs coach until 2 weeks ago. Now he coaches the quarterbacks, which would seem to make a little more sense given he was one of the terrific quarterbacks in the history of the University of Texas. One of the most popular players there as well. Jackson Shipley tackled immediately. Tyreek Zimmerman, the safety, made the stop. And that excellent third down defense for Oregon State, a staple all year long, has continued in this first quarter. 5 possessions for Texas. 5 3 and outs. Just 3 points to show for the 2 Oregon State turnovers. End of one of the Valero Alamo Bowl. Oregon State leading Texas 10-3.
Have a good day.
Aerial coverage of tonight's game provided by Goodyear. Tires that go the distance make Goodyear a fan favorite. Goodyear, more driven. Not really sure it's aerial coverage of the game. It's a little tough to shoot through the roof of the Alamo Dome, but some very pretty shots of this terrific city. Had a great time here the last few days. Some good weather. A little chilly at night, but not too bad.
Excellent weight room at the Marriott River Center.
That's always how you judge the trip. Alex King flagged down to the line of scrimmage. Fair catch made again by Jordan Poyer. See what the flag's all about. Texas has not had a first down yet. They've had 5 possessions, 5 3 and outs. They're averaging 1.5 yards per play. With 23 yards of offense in the first quarter for Mac Brown.
The one thing you'd like to see Texas do when they get back on offense is you see Major Applewhite up there on the right side.
Offside on the defense, number 28. That penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. The result of the penalty is a first down.
Costly penalty. Teron Ward lined up offside or crossed the line of scrimmage, and Texas will keep the ball.
Well, I'd like to see them open up the playbook just a little bit. And Ash is feeling a little bit comfortable. Now we need to start throwing the ball, if you're a Texas fan, down the field. See inside, right there was Ward. In the middle of your screen, lined up offside, which is a costly mental error. That's as good as a turnover right there.
And Mike Riley chagrined with good reason. Don't want to give Texas offense any kind of spark. Ash, sophomore from Belton, Texas. Between Waco and Austin. And a flag down.
Live game.
Wow. They're about to call delay a game, but now they're going to huddle the officials. Might have been a timeout called first.
Before the play clock expired, Texas called timeout. Their first timeout.
Well, you hear the boos. A lot of Texas fans disappointed with an 8-win season again. They've really slid into mediocrity here the last 3 years. They had 9 straight years of 10 wins or more, competing for national championships year in and year out. Usually always in the conversation. The last 3 years, just 21-16. It brought some speculation about Mac Brown's future. Now at age 61, the conference record the last 3 years, 4 games below 500, only 2 wins against ranked opponents. It hasn't helped that they've been hammered by Oklahoma the last 2 years and lost 3 years in a row to the Sooners. But the president, Bill Powers, has been emphatic in saying he fully supports Mac Brown. Mac has said he will be back next year.
Well, I think Mac Brown deserves every opportunity to come back and fix what's wrong. And keep in mind, to be an optimist, they're a very young football team. And if Ash gets better, they'll get better.
Well, 2 seniors on the defensive depth chart. Some trickery. Here comes Marquise Goodwin, the Olympic athlete. Touchdown. Well, the bad penalty did ignite the Longhorns. 64 yards, touchdown, and an extra point away from a tie game. Goodwin was in the Olympics this past summer in London. One of the best long jumpers in the world. He's also been clocked at 4.24 in the 40. Big reason why Major Applewhite said we need to get him the ball more. His third rushing touchdown of the season. Go with 2 receiving scores. Jonathan Gray flipped it to him. We're tied at 10.
I'm going crazy. Think about you, baby. 5150 just to
Back at the Valero Alamo Bowl, the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Longhorns have just tied it at 10. 64-yard run by Marquise Goodwin. They hadn't done anything on offense. Possession kept alive by an offside penalty against Oregon State on a punt. Beavers really hurting themselves with mistakes. Cody Vaz, the quarterback's thrown an interception, lost a fumble. The big offside on the 4th and 4 gave Texas the first down, led to the touchdown. Nick Rose kicks off. Teron Ward from the 1-yard line. He's taken down from behind by Dalton Santos. So the touchdown is tonight's GMC playbook.
Every defense has a contained player. That means the guy has to force the ball back inside. Dylan Wynn gets nosy. There's Goodwin on the reverse, and you'll see 2 good blocks by wide receivers. When wide receivers block downfield, you have the ability for a big play. There's Mike Davis, Jackson Shipley coming at the bottom of your screen, cutting off Jordan Poyer. And I know, Sean, this. If you're a 10 100-meter guy or 4.2 40 guy, if he's even, he's leaving.
He left the room to spare. Here's Cody Vaz. Short drop and almost another big mistake by the Beaver quarterback. Kenny Vaccaro read it and knocked down the pass intended for Marcus Wheaton.
The game plan is to have Kenny Vaccaro help out on Wheaton and Brandon Cooks. Right there you see the eyes of Kenny Vaccaro, which pro scouts will love. He's not locked in on his guy. He's playing the ball, and he showed good ability to break on the football and get a hand to swat it down.
He's a senior, very candid about how disappointed he's been with the way the Longhorns have played during his time in Austin. Storm Woods up the middle. Out to the 24-yard line. Tevin Jackson, sophomore linebacker, made the tackle. Vaccaro said, when we visited with him yesterday, it can't be acceptable after games to hear the coaches say, well, they played hard, they didn't give up. So that's not what Texas is about. You should always play hard. It's about winning. We need to get back to the thought process of being win, win, win all the time.
Well, if they settle for mediocrity, then that's what you'll become. And you cannot do that if you're Texas. There's a lot of pride in that program.
Vaccaro nearly turned pro after their Holiday Bowl win over Cal last year. Said he's glad he came back for his senior year. Vaz, good throw and a first down. Caught by Kevin Cummings. 17th catch of the year for the junior from Culver City, California. Good for 11 yards.
This is a well-designed play. Marcus Wheaton is going to come in and knock off Vaccaro, and you'll see when Vaccaro is so focused on Wheaton on the inside cut, that gives a big open throwing window to Cody Vaz, who delivers the strike.
One of the reasons Vaccaro said he was glad he stayed this year is the coaches used him in a variety of ways. He covered slot receivers much more often this year, which he thinks will help prepare him for the NFL. Storm Woods bounced off the pile and got wrestled down by the freshman Peter Jenkins, who's played well here late in the year. Had a nice game in their regular season finale, lost to Kansas State. Manny Diaz says he brings a little spunk in addition to his physical talents.
Well, and you can understand why this team has struggled, but when you see the growth and maturity of these young linebackers, whether it's Kendall Thompson, Tevin Jackson, Peter Jenkins, all these guys are starting to improve and they're feeling more comfortable, and you eliminate thought, you start making plays because you don't play hesitant.
Second down and 9. Nice cuts by Woods, but he couldn't break the tackle of Jenkins. And he's down to the 41. It'll be 3rd down and 4. There is a flag thrown in the secondary.
And way after the play. Way after the play.
Thrown by the field judge, Michael Williams.
Ooh.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 4, 15 yards added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
Carl's going to come with an overhand right that he'll follow up with a left hook. See right there, he doesn't like being blocked. There's the overhand right.
Well, we saw a Texas Tech player get thrown out.
Yeah.
You could get ejected for that. Those are punches. We saw tight end from Texas Tech get ejected last night. Atlantic Bowl of Texas. Jace Amaro, talented player. Red Raiders won a wild one against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And now Oregon State driving. And with the play clock about to expire, Vaz just did get a timeout call. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Texas 44 for the Beavers when we come back, tied at 10.
ESPN College Football, the Valero Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by the Venture Card from Capital One. Earn double miles you can actually use. Lexus. The Lexus December to Remember sales event is on. This is the pursuit of perfection. And Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas.
Well, the teams had a lot of fun Thursday night at the Arneson River Theater here in San Antonio. The Alamo Bowl River Pep Rally. Finished with Betsy Unga leading a group of his teammates in the haka traditional dance.
Well, we used to see Hawaii do that all the time, right?
On the field before the game. 1st and 10, Oregon State. 3 minutes into the 2nd quarter, tied at 10. Reverse, Marcus Wheaton. Stays on his feet. Gets to the 40. Manny Diaz fired up. Loved the way his defense held its ground. Was not fooled by the play action.
Keep in mind, and Manny Diaz, talked to him and pulled his name from the coaching vacancy down at Florida International. One of the reasons why, I think he has a little bit of pride. He doesn't understand, and he wants to fix what went wrong with this defense this year.
He was a candidate at FIU for the head coaching job. He's from Miami. Would have been a return home to South Florida, but took his name out of consideration. Storm Woods. 1st down and much more as he weaved his way through that Texas run defense. They've given up 200 yards per game rushing this season, last in the Big 12.
When you have guys getting a hat on a hat right there, Brandon Cooks is knocking out his man. You get a hat on each defender. They have 8 in the box there, Sean. What that tells me is they're not getting enough blocks and they're not being gap sound. Each player has one gap that should be able to fill that and bounce it to an on-block player.
14 yards for Woods. Been a happy homecoming to Texas for him. 10 carries, 68 yards. Vaz throws a wobbler, caught by a wide open Marcus Wheaton. And he lost the ball as he was tackled. He's going to be ruled down at the 13-yard line. Quandre Diggs the stop for the Horns. 1st and 10, Oregon State trying to recapture the lead, to pick up a 14 by Wheaton.
And here's a bunch formation. Watch the quick release by Cody Vaz. He throws the ball before Wheaton is out of his cut. And we highlighted this. Look at the little hip turn by Marcus Wheaton. And he does a good job, much like the former teammate of mine at Ohio State and NFL Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Chris Carter catches the ball with his hands every time.
Vaz, after the play, fake to Woods. Throwing to the back corner of the end zone. He threw it away over the head of Brandon Cooks, with Carrington Bindum in coverage. Well, you mentioned on the run by Woods a couple of plays ago, the tackling. Dreadful all year for Texas. 105 missed tackles, the most in the Big 12, after they had the fewest missed tackles in the conference last year.
And they started showing some improvement toward the end of the year. I believe Manny Diaz told us they had 2 missed tackles in that loss to Kansas State, but still not acceptable if you're a Longhorn defender.
Four-man rush on 2nd and 10. Vaz throwing for Hamlet over his head. Like Vaz does not want to make a big mistake here with this field position. Well, the Texas defense got better late in the year, Chris, but some of it by the admission of Manny Diaz, the quality of the competition. They had a really rough stretch. The first 4 conference games of the year were against Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Oklahoma, and Baylor, some of the best offenses in the country, and they annihilated Texas. Late in the year, the numbers much better as they played Kansas, Texas Tech, Iowa State, TCU, and K-State. 3rd and 10, a blitz. Vaz taken down. Alex Okafor again.
We'll take it every time. Anytime you can get a matchup with a tight end and the likes of Alex Okafor, it's really not a matchup. And again, it's nothing, any type of strange move. It's just pure speed with a little dip, making himself skinny and is able to finish. Big night for the senior from Pflugerville, Alex Okafor.
There's Trevor Romaine. Okafor 2 sacks. Texas has 3 already. Vaz limped off after that sack. 37-yard kick up and good. And that's 12 straight field goals made by the sophomore from Corona, California, Trevor Romaine. And the Beavers go back in front. Cal and Iowa, the first ever Alamo Bowl. Play action fake, touchdown. Intercepted. Well, they're going in for a Cal touchdown. Looking for more. It is caught. Touchdown. The route is on in San Antonio. That was New Year's Eve 1993, the inaugural Alamo Bowl. California Golden Bears, led by quarterback Dave Barr, threw for 266 yards. Hammered Hayden Fry's Iowa Hawkeyes to finish the year 9-4. It's become one of the best non-BCS bowl games in the country. Trevor Romaine's kickoff tumbled down to DJ Monroe. He failed to reach the 20-yard line. Tripped up by Anthony Watkins. Well, Cody Vaz suffered an ankle injury late in the year, had to leave the game at Stanford late with an ankle injury. Looks like he might have re-injured his ankle or the other one on that sack by Okafor. Here's Quint Kesnick.
Yeah, that appears to be the case, Sean. He limped off the field, actually came over to the bench, slammed his helmet down on the turf and sat down. Dr. Doug Ackerman looked to test the strength of that left ankle, and then athletic trainer Eriko Iso brought him back to the gurney where they are retaping his left ankle.
Joe Bergeron, powerful running back, 230-pounder, stopped at the line of scrimmage by Reuben Robinson. 9 minutes to go, first half, and the Longhorns come up quickly.
See, this is a way too that you can get David Ash into some type of rhythm if Major Applewhite decides to throw the football.
Bergeron in trouble and taken down well behind the line of scrimmage. DJ Alexander and Scott Crichton combining on the stop.
Well, I love defensive ends that don't give 1 for 1. When they don't give 1 for 1 right there, Scott Crichton does a great job of separating from the block. First of all, beats one block, defeats the puller, and not give 1 for 1 and coming up and make the play along with number 4, DJ Alexander. Outstanding defensive end play by Scott Crichton.
He was first team all Pac-12 this year. Freshman All-American last year. 3rd down, 16. Only a 3-man rush and a receiver open. Jackson Shipley. First down out to the 34-yard line.
Sean, this is what we're talking about. Throwing a guy open and throwing to a spot. Jackson Shipley's open on the skinny post. As they go to hurry up, Ash throws to a spot as opposed to the man.
Malcolm Brown, the ball carrier. Reuben Robinson made the tackle. No gain on the play. On 2nd and 10. Bergeron had swung down after a gain of 3. DJ Alexander made the tackle. Outside linebacker. Terrific athlete. One of the fastest players on the defense at 225 pounds. He was DJ Welch when we saw them earlier in the year, but changed his last name to Alexander prior to game 5 of the season to honor his stepfather. Jay Johnson is the running back, speedy freshman down to the right of Ash. 5-man rush, and they get there. Ash buried by Anthony Watkins on a safety blitz.
Going to try to get Johnson, number 27, out on a little bit of a wheel route, but you have to recognize that Watkins, number 3, is coming off the corner. David Ash has to realize that, and he's accountable for the on-block blitzer. That means he has to find an open area and throw the football right now because he does not have time because of the closing speed of Anthony Watkins.
3rd punt of the night for Alex King. Boyer nice moves through the traffic and crossed midfield to the Texas 47-yard line. Texas had punted only 38 times all year, 7th fewest in the country. Already 3 punts here in the first half. And it looks like Sean Mannion will take over at quarterback. After the 20-yard return, Vaz unable to go on the re-injured ankle. So here's Mannion, sophomore from Pleasanton, California. More accurate at 65% completion percentage than Vaz this year, but the interception's a problem. 13 of them to go with 15 touchdowns. Storm Woods 12 yards and a first down to the 35. And Chris, when we spoke with Sean Mannion the other day, said some of it's been poor decision making on his part, and the other part of it has been inaccurate throws brought on by poor footwork and bad technique in throwing the ball.
That's something that he really worked on in the bowl practices. And I think with Sean, the one thing I would tell him is quit overanalyzing every little detail. But again, there's blessings to be a coach's son and curses, and one of them as a curse is to overanalyze everything you do.
They started 8 games this year. They went 6-2 with him as the starter. Woods a short gain. Here's Quint.
Well, Cody Vaz is okay. The reason he didn't start this possession, Sean, is that they hadn't finished taping his left ankle. He's done some agilities behind the bench, and he just checked in with Coach Mike Riley, saying, "Coach, I'm ready. Put me in." We'll see what the coach does, though.
He hasn't been great. And that's what made it a hard decision for the coaches. Both quarterbacks have had terrific moments, but they've been inconsistent. And Storm Woods has another first down inside the 25. And Chris, there's not a lot of difference between the two of them in terms of their skill set. They're similar as throwers. Neither one of them is much of a running threat.
Well, they're both built for that offense, and both of them executed. And again, a big decision comes down to the interceptions. 13 interceptions for Sean and 1 interception for Cody. And I'm going to tell you, if Texas is doing blitzing like they just did on that last play, and they can't stop the running game, they're in trouble. They won't need to have Vaz or Mannion throw the football because they're just going to get a heavy dose of the ball on the ground.
11-yard gain. Woods might have 100 yards here in the half. He's at 91. Here comes Brandon Cooks. Out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Shoved across the boundary by Cedric Reed, a defensive end. First down. It'll be 1st and goal for the Beavers, 15 yards.
And we talk about contain, and right there, 88, Cedric Reed. We saw it on the Oregon State's defense when Dylan Wynn lost it to Marquise Goodwin. Right there, Cedric Reed loses it to Brandon Cooks, who also is pretty speedy and skilled when he runs the football.
The Oregon State coaches believe their tandem wide receivers of Wheaton and Cooks is as good as anybody's in the country.
I agree.
Ron Ward is the running back. He finds a hole and finds the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon State. And for the first time tonight. It's a 2-score game.
Watch here, Sean. You're going to get 2 guys in one gap. When you get 2 guys in one gap, it's easy for one guy to block them. Take a look at number 69. Gets in the way, blocks 2 guys, one on the freshman linebacker, number 55, Dolphin Santos, and the other one on Tevin Jackson. It's simple when you're not executing the defense that's called.
Extra point good by Trevor Romaine. Ron Ward the touchdown, his 6th rushing touchdown of the year.
Ah, the sounds of the Riverwalk. The gentle lapping of the water. The playful chirps of the birds. The soothing whir of the margarita blender. Just blending away. From world-famous landmarks to the best margaritas around, see everything this city has to offer at visitsanantonio.com.
I'm Reese Davis. Coming up at halftime, Geno Smith's final game as a college player, probably one he would prefer to forget. We'll show you what happened at snowy Yankee Stadium, an offensive explosion for the Sun Devils in the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl, and we'll also show you how Rice roared against the Air Force Academy. Dr. Lou and Mayday are here. We'll see you in just a little bit, Sean.
All right, Reese, thank you. We'll look forward to it. Here at the Alamo Dome, Oregon State has scored on its last 3 possessions. 53 touchdowns for the season now for Oregon State, matching the single season school record 2003. That was the year the Beavers set the single season scoring record, 33.3 points per game. This team has a chance to better that. They're averaging 33 points per game for the year coming in. Good kick by Romaine. DJ Monroe took a knee. Here's our Buick drive recap as the Beavers went 47 yards in 5 plays, all of them on the ground.
Just a good job of blocking, getting a hat on a hat, knocking guys back. Misdirection calls by Mike Riley, setting up reverses, double reverses, understanding that he has to get the ball into the playmaker's hands. Then when anytime offensive linemen can get to the second level with linebackers or safeties in the box, you're going to have big plays, and that's what we've seen so far tonight.
Play fake by Ash, and he throws. Jackson Shipley is out of bounds, a yard short of the first down. I think we saw that last drive, Chris. Texas coaches talking about job one when they're on defense, stop those 2 wide receivers. They've done that tonight. Wheaton and Cooks have just 1 catch combined, but it really has opened up the running game for Oregon State, and they're starting to take advantage of that.
Absolutely, Sean. And the other thing that's opened it up is that the lack of gap responsibility by the Texas defenders on the last touchdown run. You saw 2 Texas defenders in 1 gap, and Josh Andrews, number 69, blocked them both.
DJ Monroe went in motion. Ash setting up a screen to the near side to Jonathan Gray. Tackled from behind by DJ Alexander, who injured himself, it seems, on the tackle at the 46-yard line. 12-yard gain, first down Texas, and they will stop the clock with 3:11 to go in the half with the injury to Alexander.
Well, I like them opening up and throwing the ball a little bit. Now, Texas has 65 rushing yards in the first half so far, 64 of them on 1 play by Goodwin.
The touchdown on the reverse. Alexander walks off. First and 10 for Texas. They've been a good bowl team. They've won 4 of their last 5 bowl games, 8 of the last 10. Bergeron struggled to the 50-yard line, dragging Reuben Robinson. Castro Masinwai also in on the tackle. And there's another injured player. Now it's Joe Bergeron, the Texas running back.
It looks like Texas was ready to go a little bit of a tempo type offense, and I think, to me, David Ash seems a little bit more comfortable when they do go tempo, so that might be an adjustment coming out of halftime that Major Applewhite will implement in the second half.
I mentioned they're already depleted at running back without Jeremy Hills, their senior. Knee injury against TCU, second to last game of the regular season. He was a third down back, good in the screen game and pass protection. Malcolm Brown's been nursing an ankle. He missed 5 games. One thing, when you talk to opposing coaches, and it was true of Oregon State when we visited with them this week, Chris, they might get depleted. They might not be performing as well as they'd like in terms of wins and losses, but everybody Texas plays talks about they still have great athletes all over the place.
Everybody has injuries, and to their credit and to Mac Brown's credit, Manny Diaz's credit, they're not using that as an excuse. You know, enough of being saying we're inexperienced. You're into the game. This is your 13th game of the year. Get experienced. Let's go. You still have to win. Everybody's got problems. Put them in the suggestion box and let's go.
Ash 7 out of 11 passing for 53 yards. Now to the gun. Dumped it off. A little too hot to handle for Malcolm Brown. It might have been a blessing for Texas as there were Beavers nearby.
See what Oregon State decides to do here. They've been pretty successful on 3rd and shorts, 3rd and 5 or less. They line up and they play man to man.
So I wouldn't use that as a signal device, a picture of a chair. I mean, if anything, this Texas offense has been taking a seat much too often tonight.
In the first half, yes.
Yeah. Here, come back to the chair after you don't convert this 3rd down. Ash down the seam. Incomplete. Fans wanted a flag. Looked like good coverage. He was looking for M.J. McFarland, part of a tight end quartet. He's a good down the field receiver. 6'6", 245 pounds. He can run.
Yeah, and a good job by Michael Doctor in the Tampa 2 defense, and that's where the defense in the middle linebacker take the deep middle of the 3rd. Anytime you have a threat down the middle of the field, the middle linebacker is to run with him, and Doctor did a good job.
Diagnosed that play nicely.
Yes. I can see you've been out for a while. You're excited to get back.
Plenty of time to think of these stupid puns. Alex King hangs one high. His 4th punt. That is typical good night, averaging 45 on the first 3 punts. 2 timeouts left for Oregon State as the Beavers will take over in their own 10. New Year's night on ESPN. Don't miss the Discover Orange Bowl. The MAC champions, the Northern Illinois Huskies, trying to make a statement when they take on the ACC champs Florida State. The Huskies number 15, Florida State number 12. The Discover Orange Bowl, New Year's night, 8:30 Eastern time on ESPN. We saw the Huskies in person in DeKalb, Illinois. Impressive win over Toledo late in the year. Can they hang with the Seminoles?
I think Jordan Lynch can hang with the Seminoles if he plays out of his mind, which he's capable of doing. And like you said, we saw them in DeKalb right before you left for Hawaii. And I look at Florida State. Florida State has a ton of athletes.
You're still a little bitter about that, aren't you? Cody Vaz back in at quarterback. So they taped his ankle. Marcus Wheaton got about 8 on 1st down. See how the Beavers play it here with a 10-point lead. You don't want to make a mistake deep in your own end of the field. But there is time with 2:03 and 2 timeouts left to score more.
And remember that the injured ankle is the left ankle. His plant foot and the foot that he drives off is the right ankle. So we'll see if his throwing motion is affected in any way. He's covered from head to toe. He's got the knee brace on, the left ankle brace. Should be good to go.
That's a very important part of their season when he stepped in Game 5 to start for Mannion. Here's Woods bouncing outside. He gets banged out by Quandre Diggs. When he stepped in, Chris, they were a 4-0 team, had plenty of momentum. They were kind of the feel-good story of the early part of the year, wins against Wisconsin and UCLA. He hadn't started a game since high school in 2008, and he went in at BYU and threw for 332 yards.
And Coach Raleigh talked about the demeanor of Cody Vaz, just a calm, cool customer, and took advantage of the opportunity when it was presented to him.
Carey gets Woods to an even 100 yards rushing. The light of his friends and relatives here, welcoming back the native Texan, now shy of 100 yards. He gave 2 back. Well defended by Cedric Reed. And neither team showing the inclination to use a timeout right now.
Yeah, I would have thought that with that type of loss that Texas might have thought about taking a timeout, still generate a little bit of field position. And Oregon State seems to be content in taking their time. And if they do, they need to let the play clock run down. It's at 16 now.
Woods has had just one 100-yard game this season. That was 161 in their win at Arizona in week 3. Good catch by Cooks in traffic, and now the Beavers are poised to attack as they have great field position out to the 44-yard line. 20 yards on the completion to the sophomore Brandon Cooks.
And a nice job by Marcus Wheaton of not getting a penalty, just screening off the defender enough for Cooks to come back to the football as opposed to waiting for the ball.
Danny Langsdorff, the offensive coordinator, said we are at our best when we're balanced, and they've had excellent balance tonight. Run in pass. Vaz throws, batted down. And flags thrown against Michael Thompson. Kevin Cummings had he was the intended target.
Thompson's in good shape, Sean, here until he gets him with the right arm.
Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Does a good job with his left arm of coming out and avoiding the contact, but the body or the right arm's going to come and hit Cummings right. Ooh, that's a tough call. That's a good job of coverage, and you can't complain. And I can complain if I'm a coach. I won't complain for the effort of breaking down the football. The fans certainly have a right to complain.
Might have been there a fraction early. Boy, there's holding, no doubt about that. Vaz is sacked by Alex Okafor, and there is a flag down. He was being mugged and still managed to pick up his 3rd sack of this first half.
Offense number 64. The penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Colin Kelly doing all he could. It wasn't enough as Okafor just powered right through him.
The one thing you talk about anytime that you have a pass rusher, and I tell this to young kids and high school kids that are defensive linemen, always work on your get off. If you have a good get off and you're off on that football, it's tough for offensive linemen to get out of their stance sometimes, and you beat them with speed.
12-yard loss. Okafor's been immense here in the first half. Clock is running down to 30 seconds left in the half. Beavers back at their own 47. Ron Ward got them back across midfield to the 45. Still well shy of the first down. They will use a timeout. They need to get to the 31. It'll be 3rd down and 14. Capital One Bowl week, and it's a long week. It's not a 7-day week. It's a fun week.
That's football
Extended week.
I love it.
It concludes on New Year's Day with 4 great games. At noon, Mississippi State and Northwestern, the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl on ESPN2. Or you can see Purdue and Oklahoma State in the Heart of Dallas Bowl on ESPNU at 1 Eastern. Number 7, Georgia and Nebraska in the Capital One Bowl. That's on ABC. South Carolina will take on Michigan. Top 20 matchup there in the Outback Bowl. That's on ESPN. All part of Capital One Bowl week, New Year's Day. ESPN, ABC, ESPN2, ESPNU. You're going to wear out the remote. And that's the way New Year's Day should be. Like when we were kids, you just sat there and watched football games all day long.
And I'm particularly interested in seeing Nebraska after the shellacking that they took against Wisconsin, getting 70 put on them. Bo Pelini's an excellent coach. He'll make the adjustments. We'll see how they handle Georgia. That's a nice SEC Big Ten matchup.
There's a fan running on the field. That's what rise from the crowd. He managed to escape, come back into the stands. Might have been the longest gain of the night by a Longhorn or a Longhorn fan.
Romaine has a long of 45 this year.
3rd down, 14. Will they come after Cody Vaz? They rush 4. And Vaz throws. Looks like a first down. Brandon Cooks gets them into field goal range. Tackled by Quandre Diggs. They needed 14. They got 15. They're saying to spike it, but they have a timeout. They might not get up there in time to clock it.
I think there was 1 second left.
Well, use your timeout and kick the field goal. I mean, even if you stop the clock there, you're going to have time for one more play, which would be a field goal.
The issue could be is they thought it was a first down, or they could at least get a measurement of the first down to stop the clock.
Well, it looked to be a first down.
That was fourth down. He spiked the ball. The clock expired. Time expired. That is the end of the half.
I think the Beavers thought it was a first down. And the reason that they were running up there is they thought the clock would stop the move to change, but the officials deemed it was not a first down. And therefore the clock kept on running.
They needed a 31 for the first down. It looked like the ball was marked at the 31, and at least you thought maybe you would get a measurement to stop the clock.
See, I think right there he thinks it's a first down. The clock's going to stop the move to change, so we have time, so clock it. And then he was surprised when it was not a first down. He wouldn't have been telling him to clock it if it was fourth down, obviously.
But it's obviously on him too that if they're not, the clock isn't stopping, that you have to take your timeout. He had one timeout left, and he left it on the field, leaving an opportunity for points on the field with it.
Well, on the catch and tackle, it looked to us, using that yellow line as a guide, that it was a first down.
Well, the ball was spotted at the 31, where the 31 was at the first down.
Well, let's go down to Quint with Mike Riley.
Coach, what happened in terms of the clock management?
Well, it looks like I thought we had a first down. That's what we were told, and we didn't have a first down, so then we didn't get the timeout. We didn't get the chance at the field goal.
What has been the single key development in your success on offense in this ballgame?
Well, the best thing that's happened is we've run the ball a little bit, and that's been big because we're having a hard time protecting against those guys. So being able to run has been a key factor for us.
What has, going forward in the second half, what will stand out defensively? What's an adjustment or a fix you have to make?
Well, we can't give up big plays. That's a big deal, and so we got to keep playing sound. They hit us on the one reverse for a big one, and we got to do everything we can to prevent that.
64-yard reverse. Thank you, Coach.
More than half of the Texas yardage came on that one play, the 64-yard reverse. Well, let's go back and look at the third down play as Vaz completes the pass. And it looked to us like this was going to be a first down. I mean, he lands basically right on the yellow line at the 31-yard line, but they marked it back. You would think if there was any question, and there should have been given how close it was, at the very least they'd stop it and measure. Tough break for Oregon State. They're still up 10 at the half. Now Reese, Mark, and Lou in the studio. Here's the halftime report.
All right, Sean, so Oregon State has the lead.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Everybody get amped up. Everybody throw your hands up. Cranked up. Amped up. Come on, amped up. Now have a good day.
And we welcome you back to ESPN's presentation of the 2012 Valero Alamo Bowl from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. At the half, Oregon State leads Texas 20-10. Beavers felt like they might have had a wider lead at the half. Controversy in the final seconds of the half. 18 seconds to go as the Beavers snapped it on third down and 14. They thought they had a first down on the completion to Brandon Cooks. So Mike Riley saying get up there and spike it, but the clock never stopped. The officials didn't call for a measurement. Vaz spiked it, and that was fourth down. And you made the point, it's a good one. I think there are a lot of issues there. Certainly the official should have stopped the clock because it was close and it looked like a first down when you saw where the receiver Cooks landed on the turf. But then when Mike Riley looked up at the clock and saw that it was still running, he has to use his timeout.
Absolutely. You have to be aware of all situations, and the line judge could have asked for the referee to come down and make the judgment to measure for the first down. It didn't happen. It could be a costly 3 points. We'll see how the second half plays out.
And it also looked like when Vaz spiked it, there was 1 second on the clock, but then again it was fourth down, and he just spiked it on fourth down. So it doesn't matter if they had a second or not, it wasn't going to be their ball. Well, anyway.
That's the reason to take the timeout even more so.
Yep. If you see the clock still running, even though you thought correctly, it seemed it should have been deemed the first down, you have to use your timeout, stop the clock. Nick Rose kicks off for Texas. Jovan Stevenson, Teron Ward back deep. Ward from the 4. Some nifty maneuvering. And a nice return. Hard work to get to the 30-yard line. Chased out by Bryant Jackson.
Well, if you have 2 safeties deep, sometimes you're vulnerable in the middle. There's your 2 safeties deep. You're vulnerable in the middle, and that's where Oregon State has been successful running the football. The other thing, you see number 19 up there at the top of your screen who makes the tackle. That's Jenkins. On run read, he has to be able to come down and not drop back for pass, but to defend the run.
Oregon State had it rolling at the end of the half. Their last 4 possessions marched 75, 58, 47, and 59 yards. Wound up with 2 touchdowns on those 4 possessions. And then that controversy at the end of the half. Storm Woods carries. He got 2 to get back to an even 100 for the game. Second career 100-yard rushing game for the redshirt freshman. And Oregon State, I mean, last year we talked about the reasons they're improved this year. Last year they rushed for 87 yards per game, 118th in the country out of 120. So Mike Riley says we're not great this year, but we're a lot better. It's more of a threat. They average 126 yards per game this year. They're already up to 113 tonight. Low throw, diving catch made by Marcus Wheaton. They're going to mark it at the 46. Texas has held Wheaton and Cooks in check in the receiving game, but it's still a 10-point lead for the Beavers. Just the second catch for Wheaton and a dandy.
Absolutely, and that's why you'll see Marcus Wheaton playing in the NFL next year. And the other thing is that was set up from a play in the first half. When you have a fake screen, you have a play off of the screen. Mike Riley will do that. He'll run plays just to see how a defense reacts, then throw a counter off of that play that was previously called.
14-yard gain, 90th catch of the year for Wheaton. He's 1 shy of their single-season record. Dangerous throw by Baz, and Cooks gets swung down by Carrington Bindum for a loss on the play. They'll mark it at the 43 for a loss of 3.
That was a setup. Now they were hoping to get the corner to drop off and play Wheaton. The problem is, if Wheaton's coming up there to block, then that tells that corner to even close even quicker. Now Oregon State has to account for Okafor. He had 3 sacks in the first half. What do? You either keep a tight end in or you chip it back on him because they cannot handle him one-on-one.
Texas defense has given up 241 yards. They give up just 17 more yards in this game. This will be statistically the worst season ever for Texas defense. Vaccaro made the tackle on Storm Woods for another quality run as he rambled to the 48-yard line of the Horns. 3rd down and 4.
Now Okafor can help himself by not rushing the passer every time and trusting his keys. That time he created the hole himself and blocked himself by running upfield instead of playing into the blocker in a good 2-gap position.
Oregon State 50% on 3rd down. They came in just 35% for the year. Cody Bass, 5-man rush, incomplete pass. Intended for Storm Woods. Peter Jenkins had the coverage in the flat. Bass now just 10 out of 19 for 128 yards against Manny Diaz's defense. Keith Costal to punt. His first of the night. Andre Diggs back deep. Mac Brown thought Texas would have an edge in the kicking game. A few more explosive athletes in the return game. That hasn't been the case so far tonight. Well executed. Jordan Poyer, their All-American cornerback, down there covering that punt at the 8-yard line. 40-yard kick. Here's Quinn.
I asked Texas coach Mac Brown how he plans to spark the offense in the second half. He says right now we can't block them. We're going to have to use the throwing game to set up the running game. Look for more screens and shots down the field. When they do run it, he said it'll be misdirections. Meanwhile, defensively, Chris, you nailed it. He said you'll see less too high safeties look. More Texas bringing a safety in the box to stop the middle runs.
We would think that might mean Wheaton and Cooks will be more involved in the passing game now as targets for Oregon State.
I would also add to Coach Brown's comments, if I were looking at how I can spark this offense, go a little bit more tempo. I think David Ash, you give him less to think about. You get them operating and controlling what the defense calls.
Ash out of the pistol. Handed it off to Malcolm Brown, and a powerful run to the 15. A gain of 7, chopped down by the safety Ryan Murphy. Murphy's a sophomore from Oakland. Had a good year. Emotional year for Ryan Murphy. His best friend is Fred Thompson, defensive tackle on the Oregon State team last year. They wear a helmet sticker with his number 92 in initials. Fred Thompson passed away last December at the end of the year playing in a pickup basketball game. Had a heart condition. Fred Thompson was Ryan Murphy's best friend, and Ryan Murphy was emotional. He got here and saw that in his locker there was space for Fred Thompson as well. They carried Fred's jersey around all year long. Ryan Murphy was there at the hospital, and he was the one who had to make the call, wanted to make the call because of his relationship with Fred Thompson's mother. He called Fred Thompson's mom to tell her that Fred had passed away.
Number 51, 5 yards from the previous spot. 3rd down.
You can imagine how difficult and emotional that was. Ryan Murphy said Fred Thompson was the reason I'm at Oregon State, not because of their friendship, but the coaches were coming down to recruit Fred Thompson. They happened to notice Ryan Murphy on the same high school team.
It's a very difficult situation, especially at such a young age, to make that phone call.
Texas 50% for the year on 3rd down, but 1 out of 8 tonight. And Ash is in trouble. He got away. Now he's going to try to run for it. Flags down. Ash out of bounds very near the marker at the 18-yard line. Flag down to the offensive backfield. Tyreek Zimmerman chased Ash out.
Sean, right there, even though he's under pressure, David Ash did have a receiver with tight coverage, but it's nevertheless still open to throw the ball after the holding call.
Holding. Offense. Number 77. The penalty. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat 3rd down.
Luke Pellman, the senior, mentioned, stepped in as a starter tonight.
See inside right here and stepping in for the injured. Well, I mean, I get it, you know. That goes on every play.
Injured Trey Hopkins, big loss. The starting left guard out with a leg injury. Out of the gun, 3-man rush, a little swing pass out to DJ Monroe. Juggled the ball and held on to it, but tackled well shy of the 1st down near the 14-yard line. Rashad Reynolds made the tackle. The junior, who was honorable mention all Pac-12. They have terrific corners with Poyer, who's had a tremendous senior season. 7 interceptions at one corner and Reynolds the other.
Yeah, outstanding cover guys. And Sean, Mac Brown did not execute what he told Quinn Kesnick he was going to execute. That's throwing the ball downfield and throwing the ball on 1st down. Until they do that, you will not get Oregon State defense to loosen up.
Alex King, low nose up punt. He's got a good bounce for the Longhorns, and they watch it dribble out of bounds at the 35-yard line. 51-yard punt.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
The Oregon State Beavers trying to make history here in San Antonio tonight at the Valero Alamo Bowl. They're leading by 10. A win tonight would be their 10th of the year. It would be just the 3rd 10-win season in the history of Oregon State football. Gaz dumps off a screen. Connor Hamlet. Another big gain out to the 47-yard line. They're diving on the ball, but he's already been ruled down by contact at the 47. Tackled by Chris Whaley. 12-yard gain on the completion to Hamlet.
You just see the screen game and action off the screen. Different types, wide receiver screens, running back screens, tight end screens. And normally those are run if you feel that you have an over-pursuing defense or a beast pass rusher like the Longhorns do in Alex Okafor. Slow them down.
5 catches now for Hamlet. Vaz running out of time and tackle. Kendall Thompson, the linebacker. Well, Vaz ordinarily isn't all that mobile, and perhaps even less so tonight with the ankle injury. It looked like he had a chance to escape, but he could not.
This is a close-up blitz. What I mean by close-up, watch his eyes. His eyes are going to go to the running back because he has him man-to-man. Once the running back goes down and blocks Okafor, right there, he's out, I come. That's a good job of executing the defense. When you have man-to-man defense, your guy blocks, turn it into a blitz, exactly what Kendall Thompson did.
Second sack of the season for the sophomore. He's played both middle linebacker and weak side linebacker tonight. Vaz straight back, and another ball thrown up for grabs. Andre Diggs has it. Interception.
When you're late, bad things happen. Take a look at Diggs. Right here, the ball's late. Diggs is playing tight coverage because he trusts himself. An outstanding corner on a very good wide receiver. Plays the route, jumps underneath. The ball is thrown after Wheaton makes his cut, which allows Quandre Diggs with excellent closing speed to finish with the interception, and a big play for the Longhorn defense.
4th interception of the year for Diggs, sophomore from Angleton, Texas. 3rd Oregon State turnover, all of them by Vaz. Beavers have the lead despite the fact that Vaz has not been sharp. 2 interceptions and a lost fumble by the quarterback. Ash didn't see anybody to throw it to. Another flag down, perhaps for a holding call. Michael Doctor made the tackle. About an 8-yard gain if it stands, but it is going to be holding against Texas.
Holding. Offense. Number 91. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
I think he means 81, the tight end Greg Daniels.
Yeah, he's going to get Scotty Creighton, who's an excellent pass rusher himself, right there with the takedown. Alex Creighton comes with the spin move. If he spins, you got to let him go. Scotty Creighton. Thank you, sir.
The ball back to the 44. First down and 20. DJ Monroe to the 49 of Oregon State. Tyreek Zimmerman made the tackle. So impressive, this Oregon State defense. So sound, Chris, and we talk about Texas being a poor tackling team. Oregon State is a very good tackling team,
and that's the biggest reason for their improvement, according to the players and defensive coordinator Mark Banker, is that they trust the system and they trust their teammates, and they execute it where they're all in the right spot at the right time.
Banker's done a terrific job this year. Pump fake by Ash, and then he throws it over the head of Monroe. Ryan Murphy in coverage, and it doesn't even look like he's looking down the field.
That's the point. That's the point that Mark Banker made. That's a point Major Applewhite made. Take a look at the receivers running downfield. They're open. And even if they're not open, throw the guy open. Trust that your man will go up and make a play. Right there, throw the ball up for grabs. You have nothing to lose. Throw it down the sidelines, and if you're long, you're never wrong.
On 3rd down and 13, Ash throws. Jackson Shipley was open. That was better timing in the passing game, and a first down to the 33.
It is better timing, and he can do this if you let him do it and get a little tempo and you protect for him. That time he had a nice pocket, and here goes the tempo.
And the receiver still had his back to the quarterback when Ash threw it. He needs to do that sort of thing much more often. Major Applewhite said this spring they're going to simplify the passing game some to try to make the decision-making process easier for Ash. He zips one. When he is in rhythm, he's a very accurate passer. Nearly 70% for the year. Shipley another catch. It's another first down, 11 yards on the completion.
And this is what we talked about. How do you get him in rhythm? Throw the ball downfield and get it going. Go up tempo, and that's exactly what they're doing finally in the 3rd quarter. He has ability now. He can throw the ball.
Bear in mind they're without their backup quarterback. Chase McCoy sent home yesterday for curfew violation. Deep throw. Just out of the reach of Mike Davis in the back of the end zone. He was behind the defender, the All-American Jordan Poyer.
That's a good read by Ash. He sees that his guy is over the top, so he's going to throw long as opposed to throwing the back shoulder fade. And that's a good throw. And that's something that they will improve on with Major Applewhite as they progress into the offseason, is the timing of the routes. But right there was an excellent throw. Would have been a great catch, but it was a good read between receiver and quarterback being on the same page.
Not many get behind Poyer. He was the first team consensus All-American, the first defensive first team consensus All-American in Oregon State history. Ash throws again confidently. Keith Goodwin wrestled down by Poyer.
Here they're going with tempo, and you see that the Oregon State defender is taking a knee, maybe to slow them down a little bit.
Well, P.J. Alexander was shaken up earlier in this game in the first half. Then he's down again.
3rd and 5. Look for Oregon State to play a press man-to-man defense, and if you're Texas, you start running pick routes against that press coverage.
Alexander favoring his left lower leg. He and the Beavers well aware of the opportunity they have to make history tonight. It's been a motivating factor among many in this bowl game. A chance to win 10 games for the 3rd time in school history. They were 10-4 in 2006 under Mike Riley, including a win over Missouri in the Sun Bowl. And they went 11-1 in the 2000 season, won the Fiesta Bowl on New Year's Day 2001 when they absolutely annihilated Notre Dame under Dennis Erickson. Third down and 4. They are in field goal range. Ash takes off running. Might have been a quarterback draw. He's banged out of bounds, but has a first down. Knocked across the boundary by Sean Martin.
Patience is the key to this play working. Ash is looking to his right. It's a run all the way because you see the offensive lineman blocking downfield, but a nice job of setting it up with his eyes and hitting a hole. He can run the football. He has that ability also.
Rushed for 119 yards for the year, and bear in mind that the sack totals come off the quarterback's rushing numbers. First and 10 from the 11. Boy, Shipley was open going the other side of the field. He threw to the near side to Jay Johnson. Michael Doctor in coverage. Crowd thought Doctor was performing a physical examination. It did not go flag.
Yeah, you're on your game, everybody. But that's the point that you made, Sean, right there, that Shipley was open. What David will improve on with Major Applewhite is he'll start to see the field. He'll come off his first read, then he'll come back to his second and third read as he develops as a quarterback.
Second and 10. Looked like a design run again. Leaping into the end zone. Touchdown, David Ash and Texas. And the Ash family celebrates. Extra point to make it a 3-point game. Nick Jordan boots it through. Second rushing touchdown of the year for David Ash. 5:17 to go in the third quarter in San Antonio. Oregon State leading 20-17.
Have a good day.
ESPN College Football, the Valero Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by the Buick Verano. Unexpected luxury in a car this size. ProjectLuna.com. And Progressive, making it easy to buy car insurance.
Yesterday here at the Alamo Dome, both teams posing for a team photo. Ace McCoy, Jordan Hicks were not in that team picture, sent home early yesterday for a curfew violation. Texas fans into it after the touchdown by Ash has made it a 3-point game. 65,277 here tonight. A sellout in the 4th biggest crowd in the 20-year history of the Valero Alamo Bowl.
For Oregon State to come out and try to establish their dominance on the ground, settle things down.
Nick Rose kicks off. 2 yards into the end zone. Karan Ward in trouble and stopped well shy of the 20. Taken down at the 16-yard line. Dalton Santos, the primary tackler. Here's Reese Davis.
Sean, time for a Capital One Bowl preview in Orlando on New Year's Day. Georgia will bring Gershel in, Todd Gurley and Keith Marshall. Touchdown runs, 8 of them, 25 yards or longer, to go with Aaron Murray against Taylor Martinez in Nebraska. 1 o'clock Eastern time on ABC for this Big Ten SEC showdown.
Here it's Big 12, Pac-12. Cody Bass still at quarterback. Chris, if it was me, I would change quarterbacks if I was Oregon State. Bass has turned it over 3 times. He's barely at 50% completions, 11 out of 21. They come after him with a 5-man rush, and he's sacked. Playing on a bad ankle, he has shown no escapability. They've sacked him 6 times. Desmond Jackson leading the way for Manny Diaz's defense.
Well, first of all, it's a 3-step drop. On a 3-step drop, you got to be able to get rid of the football because you know that you're not going to have time. Once you hesitate, you're done. Good job of Manny Diaz bringing the pressure. It seems like both the offense and defense of the Longhorns took off the cautious jackets and said, let's go play. Let's finally get after it. We have nothing to lose.
Season high 6 sacks. They had 25 all year. 12 regular season games. Fly sweep. Marcus Wheaton got out to the 17-yard line. Chased out by Steve Edmond, playing on that injured ankle. Suffered earlier in the week in practice. They weren't sure until the pregame if he'd play. But go back to the quarterback situation, Chris. When we talk with the coaches, they competed for weeks leading up to the bowl game, Mannion and Baz. We asked them, are you afraid whoever does play is going to look over his shoulder, that you might have a quick hook? He said, no, we're going to tell whichever guy is going to play. He's the guy. We're going to avoid the temptation to have a quick hook. I don't think this would be quick late in the 3rd quarter.
I was just going to say, what's your definition of a quick hook? We have a fumble and 2 interceptions so far by Vaz.
And very few positives. That's a completion, but way short of the first down to Kevin Cummings. Adrian Phillips made the tackle. Manny Diaz, perhaps fighting to save his job, fired up. He turned down, we are told, pulled himself out of the Florida International head coaching job. He said that situation had to be perfect if I was going to leave a situation like Texas. It wasn't perfect, although there was a lot to like about it. He said, I want to come back here next year and fix the problems. And pitching a shutout here in the 2nd half so far. Booming punt by Keith Costa. Andre Diggs ran into his own man. Bounced off Kenny Vaccaro and brought it out to the 35-yard line. Malcolm Agnew, the tackler for the Beavers. 58-yard punt, 14-yard return. Haven't seen much happiness out of the defensive coordinator for Texas this year. The Rose Bowl game is on ESPN. New Year's Day, Monte Ball leads Wisconsin. They're the Rose Bowl for the 3rd straight year against the Stanford Cardinal. It's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio. 4:30 Eastern Time, New Year's Day on ESPN. Also live on the Watch ESPN app. There's a big key to the surprisingly good Oregon State season was their season opening victory over Wisconsin. And they nearly beat Stanford as well. Had a hard-fought 4-point loss in Palo Alto. E.J. Monroe on 1st and 10. Got 4. Ted Tiunga made the tackle. Texas down by 3. Some perfect push-ups and some high C. Figure out what that means. Two and a half to go, third quarter. Ash throws a duck. He got hit as he threw it, and it was picked off by Unga. Huge turnover right when Texas had the momentum on its side. Andrew Sayumalo put the pressure on Ash, and Unga wound up with his first interception of the year. First Texas turnover of the night.
Talked about it earlier. Young defensive linemen work on this. Get off the line of scrimmage. You're able to defeat double teams. Once Sayumalo come in here, defeat the double team with a nice little rip. Does not get the sack, but does get the deflection. And again, Oregon State not panicking, and their defense coming up time and again this whole year of making big plays. See if Mike Riley takes a shot deep here, Sean. So a lot of times after a turnover, teams like to go ahead and throw the ball deep, or is he going to start pounding the ball with Storm Woods?
Probably due for some deep shots. Haven't really tried to connect deep with Cooks and Wheaton, both to the right of Vaz, who's still the quarterback. Storm Woods fought his way to the 39-yard line. Alex Okafor, his former high school teammate, made the tackle. When we're done here, we'll send you to the Valley of the Sun, Tempe, Arizona, for the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. Two excellent defensive teams that really had disappointing years. TCU and Michigan State. A chance to end on an up note. 10:15 Eastern Time. Under 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Vaz screen to Woods. Plenty of running room. Great call by Mike Riley and well executed. He's to the 17-yard line with a first down. 22 yards for Storm Woods, the player of the game for the Beavers back in his native Texas.
It's all set up, Sean, because of the threat of Marcus Wheaton, number 2, who will come into your picture right there with the fake, and he gets all the Longhorn defenders because he commands so much attention. And again, run into play away from the threat. Storm Woods knows what to do with the ball when his hands are on it.
3 wide receivers. Woods the lone back. Vaz, quick slant, and a diving catch made by Wheaton. Had he hit him in stride, it would have been a first down. Still good for a 9-yard gain.
A little different there. Now Cody Vaz not hesitating on a 3-step drop, understanding the pressure will come and delivering it on time. And you're right, if he hits him in stride, where he can take advantage of his great running ability after catch.
His third catch of the night, 91 for the year now. For Wheaton, that ties James Rogers' single-season school record set back in 2009. The other Texans who performed very well. James and Jaquiz Rogers, the former Beavers. Woods has the first down and has them inside the 2. Tevin Jackson made the tackle. Well, that turnover huge. Oregon State now poised to retake the 2-score advantage.
Screen game has hurt the Longhorn defense all night, and again, it's because of the threat of Wheaton and Cooks, and shows you how valuable they are to this offense. Even when they don't get the ball, you do have to count for both of them.
On first and goal, Woods running right. Outruns the defense. Touchdown. Jenkins got there too late. And with the extra point now, a chance for Oregon State to get back to a 10-point lead, which was their margin at the half. Trevor Romaine adds the extra point.
You don't always have to throw a devastating block to throw an effective block. Take a look at number 64. Kelly is going to screen inside, making a short corner for Woods, who understands patience as a running back and letting his blocks do its work, set it up nicely, then trust his speed to get to the corner of the end zone for 6.
Second touchdown of the night for Woods. 120 yards rushing, his second career 100-yard rushing game. Most of the damage done right up the middle.
It's a credit to the guards and centers doing a good job of combo blocking. What that is a double team where you start out on a guy with a double team, then you chip up to the second level. Well executed by the Beaver offensive line.
His proud grandmother, Mary Bars. One of the great blessings of this trip to San Antonio for Oregon State. Chance for Woods to spend quality time with his family. Admitted he was very homesick last year when he was redshirting, a long way away from his mom and grandma, his siblings. Alex Okafor, his high school teammate, Texas defensive end, said he was surprised Woods stuck it out, but he did. And he's been a huge part of this terrific season, perhaps a 10-win season. They're going to have the lead going to the fourth quarter. Flags down to the DJ Monroe return to the Trevor Romaine kickoff.
During the return, illegal block in the back. On the receiving team, number 47. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Chris Terry called for the illegal block. The momentum didn't stay on the side of the Texas Longhorns for very long. Aerial coverage of tonight's game provided by Goodyear. Tires that go the distance make Goodyear fan favorite. Goodyear more driven. Likely just one more play here in the third quarter. Texas Longhorns trying to avoid finishing the year with 3 straight losses. They were 8-2. Jackson Shipley the catch out of bounds at the 10. They were 8-2 and thinking they might be a BCS Bowl team. And then lost to TCU and K-State. And down by 10 in this one as we head to the fourth. Whole week is available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, tablet, or smartphone at watchespn.com and with the Watch ESPN app. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Quint Kessenig on the sideline. Our producer, Bo Garrett. Our director, Mike Schwab. Terrific ESPN crew. Delighted to have you with us from the Alamo Dome. It's the Valero Alamo Bowl. Oregon State. 15 minutes away perhaps from just the third 10-win season in school history. Ash got a nice block from DJ Monroe and then got taken to the turf by Ryan Murphy. Gain of about 7, perhaps even 8.
That's been definitely their go-to running play is the quarterback draw. We'll see what Oregon State does to adjust that to stop that little play by Ash.
3rd down and 2. Just 3 out of 11 on 3rd down tonight against one of the best 3rd down defensive teams in the country. Ash trying to atone for that costly turnover that Oregon State very quickly turned into a touchdown. Goes short, caught, 1st down. Marquise Goodwin spun away and finally got collared out at the 43-yard line. Rashad Reynolds made the tackle. 27 yards to Goodwin, a big playmaker in his last game as a Horn.
Well, it's the matchup that they want. You have Goodwin matched up on Unga, and a good job of Ash recognizing the mismatch and delivering a catchable ball so Goodwin can turn it into a run with that speed.
Ash, that Plays worked well a couple of times. He had a chance, it seemed, to throw it away and didn't, and then got buried by Jordan Poyer. Back at the 37-yard line. A loss of 5.
Why it didn't work was Dylan Wynn did a good job of expecting that play. Instead of rushing upfield to create a natural rush lane, he held his ground, and Jordan Poyer did a good job of closing. Sean, maybe why the reason he didn't throw it away would have been a legal man downfield, because it's a design run play and they're down there blocking down on linebackers and safeties.
Second down and 15. Ash zings one. Incomplete. Off the hands of M.J. McFarland near the Oregon State 40-yard line. Reuben Robinson had the coverage, but it looked like a ball that could have been caught.
Yeah, and he does a good job of putting it on the back shoulder away from the coverage, and that is a catchable ball. You're right, and that's one that if Texas wants to improve next year, they'll start executing those plays. But you're seeing a little bit of growth from Ash right here, making the tough throw. That's what they wanted to see from him, and that's what we're seeing tonight.
So if they are going to get back to being an elite team next year, they're going to need more consistent quarterback play from David Ash or whoever is their quarterback. He's shown he can do it in flashes. He dumps it off short to Malcolm Brown, who got stood up at the 45-yard line. Still 7 yards short of a first down. We're down to 13 minutes remaining. Ryan Murphy made the tackle with Michael Doctor. Here's a terrific coach, Chris. Mark Banker. They have the Broyles Award for the best assistant coach in the country. You could make a strong case that he could win it this year.
No, I absolutely can, especially the improvement that they made from last year. And it's tough. I mean, when you have a rough year like they had last year, to get guys to buy into what you've been selling, they didn't last year, they did this year, and the results are pretty darn good.
Had a lot more nickel and dime defense this year. King, it's a fake. He's a high school quarterback. He throws an interception, dropped by Murphy. Murphy had it, dropped it. It's really no difference, because where he finally dropped it was just about at the line of scrimmage, although had he hung on, he might have had a chance to return it for a while. So they go for the fake, and the Beavers weren't fooled. You had to be alert to a fake in that situation. Down by 2 scores, time running out. With this kind of field position, only 8 yards to go. It all adds up to at least the strong possibility of a fake.
They were fooled a little bit if he was able to find the open receiver. You see they jump underneath it. If Alex King just holds the ball a little bit more. He had number 21 for Texas shooting down that Duke Thomas shooting down the sidelines. But it's tough, though. You're asking a guy to make a throw on the run. Difficult to read from high to low.
So they turn it over on downs at their own 44. It looked like Vaccaro might have been offside. No flag down to the line of scrimmage. And Woods dropped for a 1-yard loss by Dalton Santos. Texas is +2 in the turnover margin tonight. They've turned it over just once. Oregon State has committed 3 turnovers. Under Mack Brown in 15 years, the Longhorns are 90-5 when they win the turnover battle. And when they're +2 or better, as they are right now, they haven't lost a game since 2000, the Cotton Bowl against Arkansas. They've won 57 games in a row, +2 in the turnover battle or better. Look out, Daz just did get it off, and it's incomplete. He did well to unload it with Cedric Reed right in his face. He threw it in the direction of Colby Prince. 3rd down and 11.
That's a good job of saving yardage by Cody Vaz. Got in trouble a little bit when he had pressure on some of those screens earlier. Unloading it, there was a good Texas defender there that's made picks.
Just to finish the point on the turnovers, Texas lost its first game when winning the turnover battle since 2002. Earlier this year when they lost to West Virginia in Austin. A great game, 48-45. Vaz throws in, incomplete, over the head of Marcus Wheaton. Well covered by Quandre Diggs. Adrian Phillips is trying to get over there from his safety position. 4th and 11.
Nice job.
You'd think they'd punt, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
The offense is still on the field. I don't know why you'd go for it up by 10 points and risk giving the Longhorns the ball at midfield.
Absolutely punt the ball. That was a good job by Wheaton, who transition from the intended receiver into a defensive back and actually breaking up an interception, which wouldn't be all that bad considering where the ball was thrown and where the field position would end up.
Andre Diggs back for the third punt of the night. A walk-on, Keith Postel. He was a question mark when the year began. He's had a nice year. Fair catch made by Diggs. 11:24 to go here in San Antonio. Wednesday night on ESPN. Don't miss the All-State Sugar Bowl. Teddy Bridgewater, the Big East Offensive Player of the Year, leads Louisville into New Orleans to take on the Florida Gators, the number 3 scoring defense in the country. Number 21 rather, Louisville. Number 3, Florida, in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Coverage starts at 8 Eastern Wednesday night on ESPN. Also live on the Watch ESPN app.
And Florida's a quiet number 3, aren't they? Boy, they play defense. They fly to the football.
Well, a great resume, a lot of quality wins. Ash's pass incomplete, dropped by Jonathan Gray in the flat, and then he got flattened by Jordan Poyer.
Jordan Poyer, talked to some scouts, probably a mid to late round guy, smart football player, not great speed, but understands the game. Solid, 7 interceptions, so that tells me he's always around the football and has outstanding ball skills, as witnessed by his ability to return punts.
David Ash on 2nd and 10 has a man. Mike Davis, first down up to the 36-yard line, yanked down by Rashad Reynolds. 19-yard completion for Texas.
Well, he threw one earlier, the skinny post to Shipley, this time to Mike Davis, and that's what we're talking about, timing and throwing a guy open and throwing to a spot.
Ash, great catch by Shipley on a ball thrown behind him, and he's to the 50-yard line. There's a flag down in the secondary near side of the field at the Oregon State 42. The Beavers might have had too many men on the field.
Legal substitution to the defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Jordan Shipley showing a big-time catch right here. Not only the ability to turn his hips, but bring it down with one hand. It's the tempo, Sean. He gets into rhythm. He's pretty darn good with the football now.
7 catches for Shipley. That one good for 14 yards. Mike Davis again. That's some extra yardage with the fancy footwork to the Oregon State 42. Reynolds and Doctor the tackle.
Oregon State has loosened up their defense a little bit. They're going to go ahead and let them get those dinks and dunks. The thing they don't want to do is give anything over the top. And as the field shrinks, their defense will tighten up and their coverage will tighten up.
Time for Ash. Takes the check down to Malcolm Brown out of the backfield. He has a Texas first down at the 35. Banged down by Ryan Murphy after a gain of 7. Ash got hit as he throws, and it's still caught. 8th catch for Shipley. Ian Davis stepping to the forefront on this drive. Zimmerman the tackle.
Well, it started with protection because the front 4 of the Oregon State defensive line is too tight. They're not even getting in their stance, and they do not have a lot of depth on that front 4 for Oregon State. There's no pass rush coming, which is allowing time for Ash to step into the pocket and deliver on target passes.
Ash, nice cut to the inside. And a hard-earned 7 yards. Michael Doctor made the tackle. If you're Oregon State, I don't know why you get too far away from what's worked all night on defense.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, though, what's bothering them because of the lack of depth is the tempo. And so you see them, watch them come off the ball in this play. They won't get off the ball. They're almost standing up on the snap of the ball because of the fatigue that is setting in.
They are short-handed. They have 2 defensive linemen, Monterosa and Rudolph Fafita, who play quite a bit They rotate 2 men at each position inside up front. They were without 2 players suspended for a barroom brawl back in Corvallis in the weeks leading up to the bowl game. Malcolm Brown got stopped. Astro Masani, nice play, the senior from Hawaii. And he is a big run stopper, 354 pounds.
It moves pretty well. The big fella's tired. Give him some water. You got to get back in there.
And they don't have as much depth behind him tonight, so he's had to play more than he ordinarily would. With 8.5 to go, clearly fatigued. Big 3rd down and 4.
I like the quarterback draw in this situation.
They are in field goal range to make it a 1-score game. Ash in trouble. Gone away for the moment. Throws down the sideline for a touchdown. Jonathan Gray. What a play by Ash. Now a very important extra point. Nifty drive. 9 plays, 83 yards, just over 3 minutes. Nick Jordan converts. And it's a field goal game with a lot of time left. 8:18 and both teams with all 3 timeouts. David Ash made some big plays here in the second half. Texas within 3 in San Antonio.
ESPN College Football, the Valero Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by Valero, keeping America moving. The Capital One Cash Rewards Card with a 50% annual bonus. And Volkswagen.
On a crisp late December night in San Antonio, Texas. Another exciting Valero Alamo Bowl. Texas back within 3 again. After an outstanding drive engineered by David Ash, they went 83 yards. He was 6 out of 7 for 77 yards. Had another key rush on the drive. And the house is rocking again. Nick Rhodes. High and short. Down to Teron Ward to the 11. Dalton Santos corralled him near the 22-yard line.
At the beginning of the year, Ash might have tucked it and run. At the beginning of this football game, he might have decided to run. But watch his eyes get upfield, looking for an open receiver, Gray, who was actually forced out of bounds. He had the wherewithal as a true freshman, knowing that by being forced, he can come back in and still be eligible to catch the play. But that's on Ash being mature, understanding that he has a one-on-one matchup with the linebacker Reuben Robinson on a speedy Gray, and delivers the strike and catchable ball to bring Texas within 3.
Ash has thrown a touchdown pass and run for 1. Cody Vaz under duress and buried again. Had time to at least throw it away and did not. Tevin Jackson smothered him. They're going to mark it just beyond the 15-yard line. 7th sack of the night for Texas.
They had bracket coverage on. That means they took care of Wheaton and Cooks downfield with corners and safeties, forcing Vaz to pull the ball down. And Tevin Jackson with the finish.
His 3rd sack of the year for the sophomore. He was not a starter for a lot of the year. Deafening noise now inside this dome. Vaz setting up another screen to Teron Ward. Gets a block from Grant Enger and gets a first down out to the 34-yard line. Another terrific call. The screen game's been great for the Beavers tonight. And Enger, honorable mention all-conference guard, leading the way.
Well, it's the 3rd time they've run that where they bring Cooks or Wheaton in motion, fake it to them, getting the whole defense to flow and running the screen opposite of the play fake, executed well.
Storm Woods on the sideline getting some medical attention. 19-yard gain on the screen. Approaching 7 minutes to go. And the ball wasn't snapped. Just about everybody else was moving, but the freshman center, Sayamalu.
Ball start. Offense. Number 71. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
Van Anger called for the penalty. Just the second penalty of the night against Mike Riley's Beavers.
Saw blitz coming, Sean. A lot of times when you get blitz and it gets noisy, those offensive linemen get a little jumpy. Kenny Vaccaro at safety was lined up outside the line of scrimmage, and Manny Diaz is getting aggressive with his defensive calls, just like the offense for Texas has gotten aggressive.
Randall Thompson retrieving up. He came on a blitz. Ron Ward to the 35-yard line, got the penalty yardage back. Alex Okafor made the tackle. Mentioned the homecoming for Mike Riley. He still has a home here in San Antonio. Coached the San Antonio Riders of the World League of American Football in the early 90s for 2 seasons, the first 2 years of that league. They suspended operations for a while and then returned as NFL Europe. Mike and his wife Dee fell in love with the Texas Hill Country and still own a home about a half hour from the Alamo Dome. They come here every summer to enjoy the Guadalupe River. Ron Ward, the ball carrier. Mac Brown said Mike Riley's a great guy and a very smart guy, but most of the world tries to get out of Texas in the heat and humidity of the summer. Mike Riley comes here every summer.
And Mike told me that he and Paul Christ come down here and talk football in the summer. Big third down play. Be aggressive with it. If you get man-to-man coverage, you have 2 pretty good guys that are tough against man-to-man coverage, and Cooks and Marcus Wheaton lined up at the top, one-on-one against the tough Diggs.
3rd down and 11. Horns trying to get the ball back with a chance to tie or take the lead on their next possession. Vaz nowhere to go. Surrounded and taken down. Okafor there again. Cedric Reed also had Vaz hemmed in.
Your senior stepping up and making big plays. Okafor all night has been in the face of Cody Vaz.
This is far and away the Alamo Bowl record for most sacks in a game by a team. The previous record was 5, as it happened 4 times in this game. Texas is at 8 tonight. Keith Postel punts with just under 5 minutes to go. Short punt. Diggs caught it on the run. And is across midfield. Swung down at the 48-yard line of Oregon State by Clayton York.
Michigan State's Le'Veon Bell is the nation's 3rd leading rusher, gets a lot after contact, and TCU brings contact early and often. They lead the Big 12 in rush defense. Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl coming up in about 20 minutes, Sean.
Reese, looking forward to that. Still a long way to go here in San Antonio. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Tires that go the distance make Goodyear a fan favorite. Goodyear more driven. Sellout crowd, better than 65,000 on in. Most cheering for Texas. Didn't have much to cheer for a lot of the night. Texas has not led in this game. Twice they've trailed by 10. Now they're within 3. Then they take over 1st and 10. From the 48 of Oregon State, Jonathan Gray straight ahead for 3. Much more productive second half for David Ash. Not just the throwing, but his legs a factor as well.
And the coaching staff helped him out by going up tempo, which it did not do in the first half. He got into a little bit of a rhythm. Plus the Oregon State Beaver defense has shown fatigue once they got into that up tempo offense.
Four-man rush. Ash runs by it and slides down a yard shy of the first down at the 39-yard line. It'll be a big 3rd down and 1. Would think clearly 4-down territory here with under 4 minutes to go in this field position.
Mason Walters got away with a nice little hold back there.
Ash out of the game. Going to see the Wild formation with Jonathan Gray. DJ Monroe ran by. Might be a timeout.
For the snap, timeout, Oregon State. Their first time out of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So you look at David Ash's performance. He started to do what you talked about, Chris, at the very top of the telecast. I mean, he hasn't done much of all year long. Throw the ball in anticipation of the receivers being open.
Absolutely. Trust those guys. And, you know, the 2 extra weeks of bowl practice or 3 weeks of bowl practice has helped them develop that timing. And plus, he's healthy. Remember against Kansas State when McCoy played, he had that rib injury. You see him wear the rib jacket right there. But the timing seems to be much better, and I can't emphasize enough, and Major Applewhite hit on this in our meeting, that he likes the up-tempo because it's more at-bats, more chances at big plays.
And he made the point, you're playing in a league now where so many of the teams are playing up-tempo and scoring at a high rate. You need to try to play fast, too, and get the ball as many times as you can to keep up. Texas started the year well. They were 4-0. Ranked as high as number 9 in the country. And back-to-back losses to West Virginia, and they got annihilated by Oklahoma. Won 4 more in a row and then lost the last 2 coming in. Bergeron stuffed. Maybe with the second ever. No, he didn't get there. The official on the near side of the field and coming in right along the line of scrimmage. And a critical 4th down here. Texas 57% for the year on 4th down coming in. So they're 0 for 1 tonight on that fake punt.
Interesting call here by Mac Brown. You do have 3 timeouts. You try to punt it, send it into field position, or in this type of situation, you're at the Alamo Bowl, go ahead and go for it. You have nothing to lose.
I think this is a no-brainer. Oregon State's opponents have converted on 64% of their 4th downs entering tonight. And it's Jonathan Gray in the wild formation again. He keeps it, and he has the first down to the 36-yard line. Clock stopped to move the chains. Time not an issue. Plenty of time with 2:47 to go and all 3 timeouts for Texas.
Remember, you have the true freshman Nick Jordan, who's 1 for 2 tonight in field goal attempts.
Ash deep for Marquise Goodwin. Touchdown and the lead for Texas. That's the Goodwin family, and he's been the star of the night for the Longhorns. Scored their first touchdown on a reverse on a 64-yarder, and now his 36-yard reception as he got behind Sean Martin gives the Longhorns their first lead of the night with 2:24 to go. Huge extra point for Nick Jordan. Snuck it inside the left upright. And now a field goal doesn't do Oregon State any good. 2:24 to go. Major Applewhite said job 1. First night calling the plays, getting Goodwin more involved, and boy, he sure has been.
Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl will wrap up our night. Trayvon Boykin leads the TCU offense against a very stout Michigan State defense. Kickoff less than 15 minutes away. We're still playing in San Antonio. We could kick it off on ESPN2. We'll keep you apprised.
All right, Reese, thank you. Texas has trailed all night, twice by 10 points. But David Ash has come to life. The last 2 touchdown drives.
Let's go! Let's go!
He's hit his last 7 passes. Marquise Goodwin, 64-yard touchdown run and 4 catches tonight, including a touchdown. Nick Rose to kick off. Oregon State hasn't gotten much out of the return game tonight. They could use a good one from Teron Ward. They won't have a chance.
3 deep is exactly what it says it is. 3 deep. 1, 2, 3. Deep is the deepest. Now watch the hitch and go right here. Goodwin's going to set up a little bit of a hitch, and Sean Martin, number 6, the corners, is going to get caught peeking. And as we said earlier, if Goodwin gets even with you, he's leaving you. And right there, David Ash threw him open. He threw to a spot and trusted the speed of Goodwin to make the catch for 6 points. Deep is the deepest. 3 deep is exactly that. Deep is the deepest.
Well, can Cody Vaz stay on his feet? Mike Riley is stuck with him all the way except for a brief stretch of the game when he hurt his ankle and had to come out. He throws a flutter ball, incomplete, off the hands of Marcus Wheaton.
To answer your question, no. Big number 88, Cedric Reed, knocked him down as soon as he threw that football, and he took a shot like he's been taking shots all night.
Well, in this half, Oregon State has just 82 yards of offense after they had 228 in the first half.
They're having problems blocking those defensive ends. You might want to start thinking about chipping it back on those defensive ends to help your offensive tackles.
Storm Woods has been injured. He's had just 1 carry in this quarter. He was the star most of the night on offense, so his stand-in, Teron Ward, is in there. They tried to sneak in the run. Didn't fool Texas. Out to the 26-yard line. 2 timeouts left, 2 minutes to go. 3rd down and 8. There's a sack again. Hard to blame him for that one. Okafor was there before Vaz even completed his drop. 4.5 sacks for Alex Okafor, the Alamo Bowl record.
Well, Sean, we told you got to put somebody on to help them. They can't handle it. We just made that point. And when you have speed off the edge, it's very difficult to handle as Kelly can't get out of his stance, and Okafor is off like a rocket, jumping in, anticipating the snap count, and is able to finish and having a great night in his last game as a Longhorn.
Well, timeout, 1 left for Oregon State, and they're down to 1 play. And Alex Okafor, what a remarkable way to close out his Texas career. 4.5 sacks. Mentioned the improvement of the defense second half of the year, and Manny Diaz talked about how Okafor and Vaccaro, the only seniors on the 2 deep in the defense, have really taken over a leadership role, both with their words and their play.
Yeah, and it's good to see for them being seniors. And regardless of what team anybody plays, your last game you want to play well. And Alex Okafor is playing a whale of a football game, but he's being helped by Oregon State. It's a coach's job to put his players in position to succeed. All night it's been a mismatch, and they have not helped on blocking big number 80.
Here's the ball game. Will Vaz have enough time to throw? 4 wide receivers. 4-man rush. Vaz! Sacked again. Kendall Thompson leading the way. Okafor in the neighborhood as well.
Big Oak was the first one to get there. And again, he just comes with a bull rush. It's good for a pass rusher. You beat somebody with speed, you beat somebody with speed, then you set him up with the bull rush, and he just runs over Kelly again. It's a mismatch. You got to help your guy. You see right there's the pressure from Okafor. Then you have the rest of the troops coming. If you don't help, he's fired up. He's had his way all night. That's a coaching mistake, in my opinion, that you got to give your guy a chance to win, and he can't win one-on-one.
Just overpowered Colin Kelly, the right tackle, is a senior veteran, 25 career starts. Mike Riley said once he chose a quarterback and he took weeks to decide leading up to this game, he wouldn't give that quarterback the quick hook. And I know I said it a long time ago. I still think he stuck with Vaz way too long. I mean, the guy did very little to help you win the game. Now, he was on his back a lot of the night. But he didn't make any plays.
He didn't, and they didn't throw the ball downfield at all the second half. Texas did a great job of adjusting, took away the running game that Oregon State had going in the first half. And Sean Maggins was there. And Sean's probably frustrated. He'd like to get his shot.
Well, you made the decision before the year started that he was the better quarterback. He got you off to the 4-0 start. Injured his knee. Now, admittedly, there's reasons why it was an open competition. Mannion threw 13 interceptions. He's thrown more interceptions than any quarterback in the country the last 2 years. At a certain point, when your quarterback isn't doing anything to help, and it was an open question who the quarterback would be, perhaps you need to make a change. There are words the Texas fans haven't heard much this year. The defense really won the game in the second half.
Outstanding job, and the adjustments made by Manny Diaz to take away the run. Good job of taking away Cooks and number 2 for them,
Marcus Wheaton.
I mean, when you're able to take those guys out of the passing game, you'll win football games. And the pass rush set it up, and Diggs did an outstanding job in one-on-one matchup with Marcus Wheaton.
Well, Mack Brown is hoping for a win to springboard them into next year. It is an improvement of 1 win over a year ago. 9-4 to finish his 15th season, his 150th career win at Texas in exactly 15 years. He's averaged 10 per year. And a heartbreaking defeat for Mike Riley, who so much wanted to have a 10-win season, only the 3rd in the history of the school. They had the game going their way a lot of the night, certainly losing Storm Woods hurt. The ground game wasn't as productive. They couldn't block. Alex Okafor. Here's Quint Kesenick with Mack Brown.
Coach, you trailed all night. What made the difference in the fourth quarter?
Well, I thought we started picking it up on offense a little bit with a no huddle. That's kind of the Big 12 way, and gave them a little bit different look, because give them credit. Mike's got a great team. They were really well coached. They played so well. They outcoached us in the kicking game. We didn't score off the turnovers, but I thought when our offense picked it up, it gave energy back to our defense.
How do you best describe the play of Alex Okafor, 4.5 sacks, and your D-line, 10 sacks?
Yeah, guys are good. They've been good all year. Young linebackers grew up tonight and played better. Thought that let everybody understand how good our front really is, because they're really good.
What's the significance of this win for the Texas program?
Oh, we needed to get off the 8 wins, and we needed to get to 9. Did that tonight. Really good, taking momentum into spring.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Quinn.
Sean.
Well, Mack's been saying for a while, 2013 is really the season he believes it can be the one where they get back among the nation's elite. And perhaps this will be a springboard toward that. Old friends and teammates congratulating each other. Okafor, the Capital One player of the game, with an Alamo Bowl record 4.5 sacks. And inconsolable is Colin Kelly, one of the tackles who struggled a lot of the night against a great player. Heartbreaking defeat for Oregon State. What a terrific year they've had. Final score 31-27. The Longhorns are your Valero Alamo Bowl champs. Coming up next, the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. TCU and Michigan State. Now to Tempe.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.